Chapter 783. How unlucky. Of course, Lingshan only wanted to capture Yushiaoka, not kill her. Otherwise, with Lingshan's strength as a golden-class master, Yushiaoka would probably be reborn or transmigrated to another world. Yushiaoka screamed in pain as she flew backwards and fell on the ground. She spat out a mouthful of blood and fainted. Lin didn't think that Lingshan would suddenly attack and frowned. Why did you hit her? If I didn't hit her, would I have been able to capture her? Lingshan didn't feel comfortable hearing Lin speak up for Yushiaoka. I told you to capture those thieves, not her. Lin had a good impression of Yushiaoka. Although they hadn't known each other for a long time, if Yushiaoka wasn't lying, then she was worthy of Lin Yi's respect. She was able to support an orphanage all by herself. How much courage and perseverance did she need to be able to do that? She's a thief too. Lingshan looked at Lin stubbornly. She had her own principles. Although she always acted like a yes man in front of Lin she couldn't let that destroy her principles and perseverance. Lin was surprised by Lingshan's expression. Lingshan had always been docile in front of him, but now she had a disagreement with him. However, Lin thought about it and understood Lingshan's position. She was a soldier, and Yushiaoka was a thief. It was natural for soldiers to catch thieves. However, Lingshan and Yushiaoka were in different positions. Yushiaoka felt that it was okay for her to steal money for the orphanage, but Lingshan felt that no matter what, Yushiaoka was a thief. Lin nodded and didn't make things difficult for Lingshan anymore. Blackbird, on the other hand, was extremely pleased. Xiaoka was beaten up by Lingshan, and he was finally able to vent the anger he had been suppressing for a long time. Xiaoka, did you want to send us to jail? Then I'll send you in first. What about now? Not only will you be beaten up, but you will also be arrested. Lin, you want to check on Yushiaoka's injuries. We passed by Blackbird. Lin accidentally bumped into him. Blackbird was too happy to notice. However, after Lin passed by, Blackbird felt that something was wrong. Why did he suddenly feel hot all over? A surge of desire rose from the bottom of his heart, and Blackbird's eyes became blurry. He looked at Lingshan with a ferocious expression. From the looks of it, he was trying his best to control his emotions, but it was only for a split second before he went berserk, pouncing on Lingshan. Little girl, give it to me. I want you to play with me once. Lingshan looked at Blackbird, who had yellow teeth and smelly breath, and felt disgusted. She didn't understand. Wasn't Brother Blackbird too daring? How dare he take liberties with her in public? Did want to die? Lingshan was puzzled when Blackbird's hand reached for her chest. Lingshan was enraged and kicked Blackbird's crotch. Blackbird screamed in pain and fell to the ground. The last thing he said before he fainted was, "My other balls." This was naturally Lin Yi's doing. Lin only stimulated a few acupoints on his body, making him have the urge to sleep with someone else. In fact, this method could also be used on impotence and lack of desire. However, Blackbird had a strong desire to begin with, and after Lin Yi's teasing, he lost his mind. The members of the thief organization also felt strange. Did Blackbird lose his mind? How dare he take liberties with Lingshan? Wasn't he looking for death? However, they couldn't even protect themselves, so they didn't have the time to care about Blackbird's madness. All of them lowered their heads and didn't dare to breathe loudly. They were afraid that they would be Lingshan's next target. However, Lingshan didn't want to argue with them and went to look for an ambulance. Lu Wangli had already called an ambulance for Giant Deer Bro. Now, Yushiaoka and Blackbird were in the ambulance. Lin naturally didn't care about Blackbird's life and walked towards Yushiaoka. Squatting down, Lin wanted to check on Yushiaoka's injuries. However, Yushiaoka suddenly opened her eyes and gave Lin a look. Lin was surprised. "You didn't faint?" "I'm all right. I can barely hold on." Yushiaoka forced a smile. "Thank you for taking revenge for me." Yushiaoka must have guessed that Lin did something to Blackbird. Otherwise, Blackbird wouldn't dare to take liberties with a female officer at this time. Did he think his life wasn't long enough? It's nothing. Lin didn't know why, but he felt pity for the pitiful Yushiaoka. Lin was a cold person by nature, and he maintained a high level of indifference towards his enemies and strangers. He only treated his friends with sincerity. As for Xiaoka, he had only met her for the second time, and he was deeply moved by her experience. Lin, he could be considered as an orphan, and Yu Xiaoka was probably the same. Otherwise, she wouldn't have worked so hard for the orphanage. The two of them had some similarities. Song Lingshan is here. I'm gonna faint. Don't expose me. Yu Xiaoka blinked her eyes, and suddenly, her head tilted and she fainted on the ground again. Since Yu Xiaoka said so, Lin, he couldn't help her anymore. At this time, Song Lingshan directed the paramedics to carry the stretcher over. Lin, he stood up and moved to the side. Song Lingshan helped the paramedics carry Yu Xiaoka and Blackbird onto the stretcher and walked towards the ambulance. The thief organization members were mostly caught. Even if they weren't caught, they didn't dare to move. There were armed police in front and behind them. They couldn't run even if they wanted to. They might as well wait for the police to deal with them. You ran with them? Song Lingshan saw that Lin Yi followed and asked softly. Lin Yi looked at Song Lingshan and didn't explain. It was complicated to explain. He had to start from the beggar. Lin Yi was too lazy to explain in detail. Song Lingshan felt wronged and worried. Was Lin Yi blaming her for being a busybody? Shouldn't she ask so much? Chapter 784. Chapter 784. Xiaoka sis, but Lingshan just couldn't understand. What was so good about Xiaoka? She was just a female cat burglar, and Lin Yi was taking care of her? The moment Xiaoka's stretcher was about to enter the ambulance, Xiaoka jumped off and waved at Lingshan. Lingshan sis, bye-bye. I'm leaving. The ambulance was outside the police cordon, and so there weren't many police officers around. Even if there were, they were only there to assist the paramedics. They didn't think that these heavily injured people would be able to get up and run. Xiaoka, stop right there. Lingshan was pissed off. This Xiaoka was too cunning. She pretended to faint and waited for her to let her guard down before escaping from the stretcher. It was too late for her to catch her now. Xiaoka may be injured, but her qinggong wasn't just for show. Lingshan was regretting that she didn't hit Xiaoka too hard, giving her an opportunity to take advantage of. In fact, Lingshan misunderstood. Xiaoka's injuries were very heavy, and a Golden Class Master's attack wasn't something a normal person could take, even if she didn't use her full strength. The reason why Xiaoka was able to get up and run away despite her injuries was because of the conviction in her heart that she couldn't be caught by Lingshan. If she was caught, it wouldn't matter if she went to jail, but what would happen to the children in the orphanage? Lingshan's eyes lit up. So, even if Xiaoka had to die, she had to grit her teeth and run back. She had to take care of all the kids in the orphanage. Her responsibility was too heavy, and she couldn't afford to make any mistakes. Lingshan sis, we'll meet again. Xiaoka's face was in pain, but her voice was happy. She'd finally escaped Lingshan's pursuit once more. You Xiaoka, remember this. See if I don't kill you next time. Lingshan glared at Xiaoka hatefully. She was pissed off. Xiaoka didn't argue with Lingshan. She knew her own situation, and she was heavily injured. She was gritting her teeth and running back to the orphanage. Lin Yi thought of something and said to Lingshan, I'll go take a look. You can catch her. Lingshan was overjoyed after hearing Lin Yi's words. She thought that Lin Yi was going to help her catch Xiaoka. No, she's not in a good condition. I'm afraid that you'll kill her. Lin Yi said as he followed. Lingshan stomped her feet angrily. It seemed like Lin Yi could have caught Xiaoka, but he didn't, going to check on Xiaoka's injuries instead. But she couldn't interfere with Lin Yi's business. She was angry, but she didn't dare to object to Lin Yi. Lin Yi followed Xiaoka secretly and saw her running towards the slums. Lin Yi had to admit that Xiaoka was very fast. If he wasn't mystic and good at speed, Lin Yi might not be able to catch up to Xiaoka. Xiaoka was very fast, and in the blink of an eye, she had passed through the slums and arrived in front of a dilapidated courtyard. She pushed the door open and entered the courtyard. Perhaps it was because she had used up the last bit of energy in her body, but the moment she entered the courtyard, she fell to the ground and couldn't get up again. Lin Yi admired Xiaoka's endurance. It was so far away, and she used her last bit of energy to run here. It was very rare. This was a very dilapidated courtyard. At the gate of the courtyard, there was a wooden sign with black characters on a white background. However, because of the age, it was already modeled. There were only a few vague words on it. If you looked closely, you could see that it said, Shantytown Private Orphanage. So, it was an orphanage? After seeing the sign, Lin Yi's suspicions towards Xiaoka disappeared. He was 100% sure that what Xiaoka said was true. But the orphanage was so dilapidated that it made Lin Yi a little moved. Lin Yi walked over quickly and came to Xiaoka's side. He bent down and reached out his hand to check on Xiaoka's injuries. Who are you? Let go of Xiaoka, sis. Bad guy. Stay away from Xiaoka, sis. Suddenly, a group of kids ran out from the only red brick house in the courtyard and surrounded Lin Yi. They didn't want Lin Yi to get close to Xiaoka. Xiaoka, sis, what's wrong? Woo-woo. Xiaoka, sis, why are you vomiting blood? A little girl cried when she saw the blood at the corner of Xiaoka's mouth. The other boys, on the other hand, glared at Lin Yi. Who are you? Why did you hurt Xiaoka, sis? Lin Yi didn't think that his kind action would be misunderstood by these kids, but he didn't mind it. After all, these kids didn't know anything. Seeing Xiaoka lying here, they naturally thought that he was the bad guy who hurt Xiaoka. However, there was one thing that Lin Yi could see. These kids had a deep relationship with Xiaoka, so what Xiaoka said before was true. She stole the money for these kids, for this orphanage. What are you doing? Go back now. An authoritative voice sounded. Lin Yi looked up and saw an old woman in her 50s walking out from the red brick house. She quickly walked to Lin Yi and looked at Xiaoka on the ground, then at Lin Yi. She had a complicated expression on her face. Principal, this person is a bad guy. He hurt Xiaoka, sis. Xiaoka, sis, is vomiting blood. Should we call the police and arrest him? Stop arguing. Go back now. The old woman called Principal shouted at the kids. There's nothing for you to do here. Go back and read your books. But Principal, Xiaoka, sis, is vomiting blood. Woo-woo. The younger girl cried and didn't want to leave. What? My words don't work, do they? All of you go back. The old woman yelled at the girl and pulled her over to prevent her from getting close to Lin Yi. She then turned to one of the older boys. Ken, take your brother and sister back. Chapter 785. She'll die if you don't save her, but it was obvious that the kids were worried about Xiaoka's situation. How could they relax after seeing Xiaoka vomit blood? After the kids left, the old woman looked at Lin Yi. Xiaoka stole your money, right? But you're really too vicious. You actually chased her all the way here. She stole your money. I can compensate you. I hope you can let Xiaoka go. She's a good child. I believe you've seen it too. She stole all the money for the sake of this orphanage. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm useless, I wouldn't have let this child out. The old woman didn't want the kids to know that their beloved Xiaoka sis went out to earn money for them every day, but in reality, she was stealing. Only she knew about this, and no one else knew about it. This was also why the old woman told the kids to go in. It was best to hide this from the kids as much as possible. It was best not to let the kids know about this beforehand, or else it wouldn't be good for their growth. Lin Yi paused after hearing the old woman's words, and understood that she misunderstood. She thought he was the one who threw the things, and he was the one who caused Xiaoka's injuries. That was why he came here. The old woman knew Xiaoka's skills. She wasn't very strong, but someone who could injure her wasn't weak either. Lin Yi was obviously skilled in martial arts if he could injure Xiaoka. The old woman couldn't see through Lin Yi's strength, but she was still cautious. So, the old lady said a few words for Xiaoka, hoping that Lin Yi could understand. You misunderstood. She didn't steal my money. Lin Yi shook his head. You didn't steal? The old woman paused and looked at Lin Yi, surprised. If she didn't steal, then why did you do this? The old woman's tone became serious, and her face showed a vigilant expression. Her aura rose in an instant. Golden class. Lin Yi was slightly taken aback, but he shook his head. Your strength isn't at the golden class, but your aura is there. How strange. The old woman raised her aura, and Lin Yi instantly sensed that she was at the early phase of the golden class. However, Lin Yi soon felt that something was wrong. Although her aura was at the golden class, the true chi on the old woman's body was not strong. At this moment, it was already very good to have half of the strength of the golden class. It seemed that half of her true chi was sealed by something. You know about the golden class? The old woman's expression suddenly changed. She stared at Lin Yi. She didn't expect Lin Yi to see through her strength at a glance. Was Lin Yi also an expert? I didn't injure Xiaoke. She was injured by Ling Shan. Lin Yi didn't answer the old woman's question and explained Xiaoke's injury instead. Ling Shan? Ling Shan from the city's criminal police team? The old woman had obviously heard of Ling Shan's name. Yes, move aside. Xiaoke's injury is very serious, and she might die if we don't save her. Lin Yi ignored the old woman and squatted down, holding Xiaoke's hand. The old woman had already decided to fight with Lin Yi, but Lin Yi didn't seem to want to fight at all. He squatted down and exposed his body's weakness to the old woman, and she didn't know what to do. Should she attack or not? The old woman felt that attacking Lin Yi from this angle would give her an absolute advantage. At the very least, she would be able to gain the upper hand, but Lin Yi said that he didn't injure Xiaoke and that he was here to save her. The old woman didn't believe Lin Yi's words, but seeing that he was holding Xiaoke's hand, it didn't seem like he wanted to hurt her. Her heart relaxed a little, but she still looked at Lin Yi cautiously, afraid that Lin Yi would hurt Xiaoke. Lin Yi checked Xiaoke's injuries. Ling Shan's palm had only shifted Xiaoke's organs, and she'd be able to recover after some rest. But Xiaoke had used her last breath to run back to the orphanage, aggravating her injuries. She'd already sustained internal injuries, and if she didn't get treated soon, there'd be repercussions even if she did recover. Find me a quiet room. Don't let anyone disturb me. Lin Yi carried Xiaoke and ordered the old woman. You really want to save Xiaoke? The old woman naturally didn't believe Lin Yi. After all, they only met once, and she didn't know the relationship between Lin Yi and Xiaoke. She was a little hesitant. If you can heal her, I'll let you do it, Lin Yi said faintly. How could the old woman know how to heal people? If it weren't for Lin Yi, her first reaction would be to send Xiaoke to the hospital. Perhaps Lin Yi touching Xiaoke triggered her injury, but just when the old woman was hesitating whether or not to believe Lin Yi, Xiaoke woke up. She opened her eyes with difficulty and saw that she was in Lin Yi's arms. She paused and said, "You're a good friend. Are you going to send me to the hospital? Did Song Lingshan chase after me? Xiaoke, how are you?" The old woman didn't expect Xiaoke to wake up so suddenly and asked in surprise. "Master." Xiaoke saw the old woman too and forced a smile. "I'm okay. I got hit by Ling Shan." With that, Xiaoke fainted again. She felt that Lin Yi wouldn't leave her to die, and with the dean beside her, she didn't have to hold on anymore. The old woman heard Xiaoke's words and saw that Xiaoke didn't have any hostility towards Lin Yi. She finally calmed down and brought Lin Yi to an empty room. "This is Xiaoke's room, separate from the kids. No one will disturb you here. But can you really save Xiaoke?" Lin Yi frowned. Since this old woman was Xiaoke's master, and she really did care about Xiaoke, Lin Yi didn't show too much impatience. "I can save her, leave," Lin Yi said faintly. The old woman was in a difficult position. She didn't trust Lin Yi 100%, and she didn't dare to leave casually. She was afraid that Lin Yi would do something to hurt Xiaoke. After all, Xiaoke was very pretty. What if Lin Yi had bad intentions and did whatever he wanted when Xiaoke couldn't move? If Lin Yi knew what the old woman was thinking, he would only smile bitterly. Chapter 786. Xiaoke's boyfriend? Lin Yi had been having a lot of fun using his energy to save people these days. It seemed that his energy would work on anything other than organic diseases, like Zhenhu's heart disease. It was especially effective on external injuries, after all. Lin Yi silently activated the art of dragon mastery, and the energy in his body flowed into Xiaoke's body. However, Xiaoke's injuries weren't that serious, so she didn't need a lot of energy. Lin Yi didn't feel tired at all, and not long after, Xiaoke's face regained some color. The old woman's eyes widened in shock. Lin Yi only held Xiaoke's hand and didn't do anything else, and Xiaoke's condition was getting better and better? How was that possible? This didn't make sense. Suddenly, the old woman thought of a shocking possibility. When she was young, she had also suffered a serious injury. Not only was her martial arts crippled, she was also on the verge of death. The old woman's master, in order to let her live, had passed on all her martial arts to the old woman through the method of transferring her martial arts. After that, her master was like an oil lamp that had run out of oil, walking towards the end of her life. The old woman was very grateful to her master, and it was because of this that she understood the unthinkable of passing on energy. Could it be that Lin Yi was passing on energy to Xiaoka right now? Just what was the relationship between Lin Yi and Xiaoka for Lin Yi to do something like this? How could a normal friendship do something like this? If it were the old woman herself, she would sacrifice herself without hesitation if Xiaoka couldn't be healed. But that was only because she was Xiaoka's master, and they had a deep relationship. But why would Lin Yi do something like this? Could it be that Lin Yi was Xiaoka's boyfriend? The old woman suddenly thought of this possibility and started suspecting it. Otherwise, why would Lin Yi sacrifice himself to save Xiaoka? Was he stupid? With that thought, the old woman was even more sure of her guesses. Xiaoka was 18 this year, and it was the age to fall in love. She had neglected this and treated her as a kid, but Xiaoka wasn't a kid anymore. Xiaoka, on the other hand, was under too much pressure every day. She had to take care of an orphanage all by herself, and it was too tiring. Emotional comfort could relieve some of her pressure. Of course, she had strict requirements for Xiaoka's boyfriend, but now that she saw Lin Yi using pure qi to save Xiaoka, she dispelled her doubts about Lin Yi's character. If he didn't treat Xiaoka well, who would do this? Who? Lin Yi let out a long breath and let go of Xiaoka's hand. Xiaoka needed far less qi than Xiao Xiao, Ming Yao, and General Wei Wu. So although Lin Yi lost some qi, it was nothing to Lin Yi. All right, she'll wake up in a bit. Lin Yi breathed out in relief. He had his own standards, and although he could help Lingshan solve the case, he could also stop her from catching Xiaoka. I'm leaving. What? You're leaving just like that? The old woman was really confused now. Of course, what confused her was that Lin Yi's face didn't even blush when he used his pure energy to save Xiaoka. This surprised her a lot. There were only two possibilities. One was that Lin Yi's strength was far beyond her imagination, and the other was that Lin Yi wasn't using pure qi. What was it then? The second thing that confused her was that Lin Yi spent so much effort to save Xiaoka. Normally, he would be waiting for Xiaoka to wake up, and she'd be so touched that she'd be in a mess. This was something that young couples should do under normal circumstances, right? But Lin, he didn't seem to care at all. I still have things to do. I'll be leaving first. Lin Yi nodded. Right? If Lingshan doesn't let her go, tell her to call me. This is my number. With that, Lin Yi wrote his number on the calendar next to Xiaoka's bed. Wait, may I ask, did you use pure qi to treat you, Xiaoka? The old woman asked the question she had in her mind. You could say that, Lin Yi nodded. Can Xiaoka use your pure qi? The old woman wasn't very strong, but she knew that if it wasn't from the same school, the similarity between qi was close to zero, and it couldn't be used interchangeably. Forcefully injecting it into someone else's body wouldn't benefit them at all. Yes, Lin Yi said. All right, I'll be leaving first. With that, he turned around and left Xiaoka's room, ignoring the old woman. Lin Yi wasn't very familiar with Xiaoka, much less the old woman. So, in terms of helping Xiaoka, Lin Yi did this much was already very good. She stole so much money, but she didn't know how to enjoy it. She was wearing the cheapest clothes on the street, and the room was very simple. The window was broken, and the writing desk was broken. There wasn't even a decent closet. The only luxury item was the computer on the writing desk. Lin Yi was helping Xiaoka because he really liked the girl. She had a hard life, but she was optimistic. She found joy in her pain every day. She stole so much money, but she didn't know how to enjoy a single cent of it. She wore the cheapest clothes on the street, and the room was very simple. The monitor with the big head was already obsolete, and the case was missing a panel. The keyboard and mouse were also the oldest, but they were wiped clean. Someone probably didn't want them anymore and donated them, right? For a young and beautiful girl, makeup, dressing table, and wardrobe were necessary items, but they weren't in Xiaoka's room. There was a bottle of Debeo SOD honey on the desk, and the only thing left was a box of hand oil that was rarely seen in shells. It was hard for Lin Yi to imagine how this girl lived every day. She had so much money, but she never fell for it. As for the closet, it was a big cardboard box on the ground. There were a few clothes scattered inside, but it was pitiful. Other than underwear, there were only 2 to 3 sets of outer clothes. It was quite pitiful. So, if it was possible, Lin Yi wouldn't hesitate to help Xiaoka. He wasn't just helping Xiaoka herself, but all the children in the orphanage. Chapter 787. Chapter 787. Yu Xiaoka's admirer evidently. Ken had overheard the conversation between Lin Yi and the headmaster. This surprised Lin Yi a little. This kid dared to listen to the headmaster and secretly eavesdrop? It wasn't that Lin Yi didn't take precautions. In fact, there was nothing to hide in the conversation between Lin Yi and the headmaster, and Lin Yi didn't care about anyone eavesdropping. Plus, there were no strangers around the orphanage, so Lin Yi didn't take it to heart. You know about Xiaoka? Lin Yi paused and looked at Ken. Yeah, I know a little, but Xiaoka sis is a good person. Although she steals from those heartless rich bastards. Ken was the oldest in the group, around 15 years old. It was normal for him to know about these things. Can I ask you something? What is it? Lin Yi didn't dislike these orphans, so he didn't mind talking to them. Are you Sister Xiao, Ku's boyfriend? Xiao Ken hesitated for a moment, but still asked shyly. The way the boy asked the question surprised Lin Yi. There seemed to be a hint of jealousy and envy in the boy's tone. His expression betrayed his true intentions, and Lin Yi found it funny. You like Yu Xiaoka? Ken was shocked by Lin Yi's sudden question. His face turned red, and he clenched his fists, breathing heavily. He dodged Lin Yi's gaze, not daring to meet Lin Yi's eyes. After a while, he said, all the sensible boys in the orphanage look up to Ku's sis, and they all want her to be their wives. Ken's words confirmed Lin Yi's guess. Although he didn't admit it, it was no different from admitting it. Oh, Lin Yi smiled and looked at Xiao Ken from head to toe. Judging from his figure alone, it was hard to tell that he was only 15 years old. He was already more than 7 meters tall, but his young face betrayed his age. At his age, it was normal for him to have feelings for the opposite sex. Xiaoka was very pretty, and she was the idol of these kids. These kids were like fans, and it was understandable for them to have thoughts about her. You wouldn't use Yu Xiaoka's photo to do something perverted, would you? Lin Yi found Xiao Ken interesting and couldn't help but tease him. How is that possible? Xiao Ken suddenly became a little anxious. He stared at Lin Yi with a flushed face. Sister Xiaoka is like a goddess in our hearts. How can I blaspheme her? I'm just asking casually. Why are you so excited? Lin Yi laughed. It seemed like Xiao Ken wasn't lying. In his heart, he probably admired Xiaoka more than anything else. Actually, we all know that we're not good enough for her. She's so kind, so beautiful, and we all hope that she can find a boyfriend who can protect her and give her happiness, so that she doesn't have to work so hard every day. Xiao Ken suddenly looked up at Lin Yi. And we can't do that. What about you? Me? Lin Yi paused and shook his head. This is the second time I've met her, You're not Xiaoka's boyfriend? Xiao Ken froze as well. Then why did you save her? Kids shouldn't ask about adult matters. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He told Xiao Ken, go back and study. Let's see if the dean will scold you when she comes out. Then I'll go. Xiao Ken was scared at the mention of the dean. He made a face at Lin Yi and ran back to the red brick house. Lin Yi shook his head. Xiao Ken was a little mischievous, but he was still a kid. However, Xiao Ken's words touched Lin Yi. It wasn't a long-term solution for Yu Xiaoka to keep stealing. Could she do something for the orphanage? Lin Yi wasn't the kind of person who liked to help others. But this time, he changed his attitude because he felt pity for these kids. In a not-so-luxurious ward in People's First Hospital, Kong Ming Ming was lying on the bed. He had an 4 drip on his face, and he was still cursing. He had just woken up not long ago. He was scared by the old man who was pushing the body downstairs, and he fainted. Zhu Xiaozhang and Wang Shubing had to send him to the ward. After he was hooked up to a drip of glucose and 4 drip, Kong Ming Ming slowly woke up. Motherfucker, what a scam. Pushing a body to scare people. I was almost scared to death. Master Ming, why don't Xiaozhang and I go beat up the old man for you? Wang Shubing asked carefully. Fuck off. It's useless. What's the point of beating him up? If you break him, you'll have to pay for it, idiot. Kong Ming Ming glared at Wang Shubing and said, Right, where's Guan Xian? Did she come to give me an injection? No, it was an old woman. She's huge, and her breasts are bigger than my butt. Wang Shubing shook his head. Motherfucker, help me find out when Guan Xian will be on duty, and find a way to trade her for me. Kong Ming Ming said, I can't catch a cold for nothing. Not only will I suffer, but I'll also have to spend money. Who am I supposed to ask? I don't know anyone in this hospital. This place isn't like Donghai. Wang Shubing sighed. Master Ming, you don't know anything here? Fuck, just give me money. Do I need to tell you? Just find someone who knows the inside story, give them some money, and they'll tell you. Kong Ming Ming said unhappily. For example, the old woman you mentioned before. If you give her some money, I don't believe she won't tell you. That's right. Wang Shubing nodded. Wait a minute, I'll go and see. Before Wang Shubing could finish a sentence, the door of the room was pushed open. The old woman nurse walked in and asked loudly, Is the patient awake? He's awake, he's awake. Andy, can you come and see? Wang Shubing wanted to get some information from the old woman, so his attitude became very respectful. What did you say? Who are you calling an Andy? I'm not married yet. The old woman nurse glared at him and almost slapped Wang Shubing. I'm sorry. I only saw clearly when I got closer. It's the beautiful nurse. Wang Shubing was shocked and quickly changed his words. My eyesight isn't good. Please forgive me. Chapter 788. Kong Ming Ming harms himself. I think I should stay for 2 more days. Wang Shubing whispered, Sister Nurse, can I talk to you in private? Talk in private? If you have something to say it here. If you have something to say it quickly. I'm busy. The nurse didn't have a good impression of this Wang Shubing. He called her Andy before. What kind of look was that? Wang Shubing quickly reached into his pocket and took out a few hundred yuan. He didn't know where he lost his wallet earlier, so he didn't have much money left. He roughly looked at it and saw that there was only around 400 yuan. Part of it was just spare change, but that was all he had. He couldn't make it to the bank in time. He could only bite the bullet and say, Sister Nurse, can you fulfill a request of mine? What do you mean? Have you been watching too many Japanese porn? I'm a decent person. Don't think about those kinds of things. The nurse looked at Wang Shubing with disdain. Also, you want me to give up my dignity for such a small amount of money? Are you dreaming? Huh? Wang Shubing was stunned. He knew that the nurse misunderstood him. This kind of trash, why wouldn't he do it for 400 yuan? Wang Shubing wouldn't want it even if it was free. But now that he had a favor to ask, he could only lower his voice and say, I'm sorry, Sister Nurse, you misunderstood me. I don't have those kinds of thoughts. I just want to ask you something. Ask you something? What is it? The nurse knew that Wang Shubing didn't mean it that way, and her face softened a little. 400 yuan for some information was worth it, but it depended on what he wanted to know. If it was something unimportant, it was fine to tell him. But if he wanted to pry into the hospital's secrets, then there was no way. She could only say goodbye to the 400 yuan. It's like this, my boss, is this Master Xiaoming. Wang Shubin pointed at Kong Xiaoming on the bed and continued. He wants to chase after a nurse in your hospital, so he wants to get some information. Oh, why didn't you say so earlier? The nurse snatched the money from Wang Shubing's hand and put it in her pocket. Ask away. I will tell you everything I know. The nurses could still talk about this kind of thing. Moreover, this was not considered as receiving a red packet. This was the income from their labor outside the scope of their work, so they could feel at ease accepting it. That nurse's name is Guan Xian. Is she also a nurse in your surgery department? Wang Shubing quickly asked. Guan Xian, I know, the flower of our surgery department. What do you want to know? The nurses didn't know Guan Xian's background, so they didn't care what they said behind her back. Nurse Sis, my boss came to the hospital because of Guan Xian, but I don't know what kind of illness Guan Xian is responsible for, so I can't get in touch with her even if I wanted to. Wang Shubing said awkwardly. Beautiful nurse. Can you point me in the right direction? Oh, that's easy. Guan Xian is in charge of the external wounds. She's not in charge of injections. If you want to see her, you have to have external wounds. Otherwise, you won't be able to see her even if you catch a cold and die here. The old nurse said. If that's the case, then it looks like we went in the wrong direction. Wang Shubing looked at Kong Ming sympathetically. It looked like he suffered this cold for nothing. He couldn't even see Guan Xian's shadow. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'm leaving. You guys figure out yourself. After the nurse finished speaking, she turned around and walked away. With just a few words, she earned more than 400 yuan. It was really worth it. Motherfucker. Kong Ming was furious. He angrily slapped the bed. If I knew this was going to happen, I would have investigated it first. At least I wouldn't have to suffer like this. Yeah, Master Ming, but right now we can only treat the cold first. Zhu Xiaozhong sighed as he replied. Treat what? Didn't that old woman just say it? I'm almost fully recovered. Hurry up and think of a way to get close to Guan Xian. Kong Ming was anxious. He remembered seeing Guan Xian and that bitch Xiao Fun together. He felt a little uneasy. He didn't know what their relationship was. Did Xiao Fun tell her about him? But Kong Ming thought that she probably wouldn't say anything yet. This was a little embarrassing for Xiao Fun. She wouldn't expose herself, would she? But that girl seemed to be a little crazy, right? If she said it out, then it would be hard to say. So Kong Ming wanted to get Guan Xian as soon as possible. As long as he could get Guan Xian pregnant, then everything would be fine. Even if Guan Xian found out, it was already too late. It didn't matter anymore. Master Ming, it's still the same trick. As long as you suffer a little more, it'll be fine. Wang Shubing hesitated and said, Oh, you mean? Kong Ming's eyes lit up. Master Ming, why don't you just cut your hand and get Guan Xian to bandage it? Wang Shubing nodded and suggested. You're right. Come on now. Kong Ming extended his hand. Do it. This. Wang Shubing didn't dare to do it. It was fine for him to cut someone else's hand, but he didn't dare to cut Kong Ming. Who knew how deep it was? What if it hurt? What is this? Hurry up. Kong Ming was a little anxious. He came to Songshan with a heavy responsibility. This was also his first time carrying out a mission given to him by his family. So Kong Ming didn't want to fail. He knew that he was a spoiled brat, so this was the only thing he could do. If he couldn't do this well, then he wouldn't have any status in the family. Xiaozhong, you do it. Wang Shubing still didn't dare to do it. Zhu Xiaozhong was braver than Wang Shubing. He was called arrogant bro, but he was arrogant to others. He wasn't arrogant to Kong Ming. Hurry up, what are you thinking about? Kong Ming was a little anxious. Over there's still a needle on the drip I just used, right? Cut me with it. Okay, Master Ming, bear with it for a bit. Zhu Xiaozhong nodded and picked up the used drip needle on the table. He steeled his heart and made a small cut on Kong Ming's arm. Hiss! Kong Ming took a deep breath. It was really painful, but he was the one who asked Zhu Xiaozhong to do it. He couldn't blame Zhu Xiaozhong, could he? Is that enough? Zhu Xiaozhong didn't dare to continue after making a small cut. That's what I mean, right? Kong Ming was also in pain. Let's go, let's get Guan Xian to bandage it. Kong Ming didn't care about the drip anymore. He pulled out the needle and quickly ran out of the room. Chapter 789. Testing Guan Xian. Nurse Guan Xian, help. My boss cut his hand. Can you please bandage it? Wang Shubing pushed open the nurse's office door and asked Guan Xian. Guan Xian raised her head. She didn't think that it would be Kong Ming and his gang again. Her heart was filled with disgust. How could she not know what Kong Ming was trying to do? But Guan Xian already had someone she liked. There was no way she would do anything with him. Although her sweetheart already had someone else, Guan Xian still wouldn't fall in love with Kong Ming. However, even though she disliked them, she couldn't just ignore them out of professional ethics. She was the only one in the nurse's office, so Guan Xin had no choice but to stand up. Guan Xin furrowed her eyebrows. This Kong Ming was quite smart. Last time he tried to get close to her, but now he cut his hand again. Guan Xin had no choice but to help him first. Usually, the more urgent wounds would be treated first, and then the fees would be paid later. Can I take a look? Guan Xin asked. It's here, Guan Xin. I'm so unlucky. I caught a cold yesterday, and today I cut my hand. Sai, I'm so unlucky. Kong Ming raised his injured left hand and said to Guan Xin. Guan Xin looked at the wound on Kong Ming's hand. She was speechless. Did he need to bandage such a small wound? Most people would just apply some medicine or a Band-Aid and be fine. Why was this Kong Ming so delicate? What's wrong? Kong Ming saw that Guan Xin didn't say anything and asked. Guan Xin still didn't say anything. She was sure that Kong Ming did it on purpose. Maybe even the wound on his hand was purposely made by him. Guan Xin was infuriated. How could this guy be like this? Guan Xin opened the cabinet and found a Band-Aid and gave it to Kong Ming. Here, you can put it on yourself. I put it on myself? Kong Ming was stunned. How are you going to bandage such a small wound? Guan Xin asked. Kong Ming paused for a moment before agreeing with Guan Xin's reasoning. The wound was a bit small, so it wasn't wrong for Guan Xin to give him a Band-Aid. Then, can you help me? Kong Ming wouldn't let go of any opportunity to get close to Guan Xin. Isn't your other hand fine? Guan Xin frowned. I'm a patient and you're a nurse. Shouldn't you help me? It's not like I'm not paying for it. Kong Ming said, feeling wronged. Oh, that Band-Aid is a gift from me. It's free. Guan Xin didn't bother with Kong Xiaoming as she walked back to her desk and started reading her book. Kong Ming had no choice but to stick a Band-Aid on his wound. He was thinking about how he could get information from Guan Xin and ask her about her relationship with Xiaofun. These words were really difficult to say. He didn't know how to broach this topic. Why aren't you leaving yet? Guan Xin waited for a while and realized that Kong Xiaoming was still standing in her office. She asked curiously, It's nothing, I was just thinking of leaving. Kong Ming laughed and said, Oh right, I came back yesterday to look for you, but I saw you with a girl who couldn't walk properly. It seemed like you were going to do something? Oh, Guan Xin replied meaninglessly. Is she your friend? Kong Ming asked carefully, What does this have to do with you? Guan Xin didn't understand what Kong Ming was trying to say. Ugh, nothing. Guan Xin's words made Kong Ming's heart beat faster. He felt that Guan Xin's words had a double meaning. What does this have to do with you? Was that a question or a rhetorical question? Could it be that Guan Xin knows about my relationship with Xiaofun? Kong Xiaoming's heart was getting more and more unsettled. Damn it, Xiaofun, this little bitch. She's not good at anything, but she's good at ruining things. If she really told Guan Xin about him and her, then he really wouldn't stand a chance. Kong Ming wasn't discouraged by Guan Xin's cold attitude. He was quite good at wooing girls. When he first started wooing Xiaofun was also cold, but didn't they still fall in love with each other? So Kong Xiaoming was confident that he could make Guan Xin fall in love with him. But the biggest obstacle was fun. If Fan opened her mouth and told Guan Xin about their relationship, then Guan Xin would be on guard against him. If that happened, then Kong Xiaoming wouldn't have a chance anymore. After leaving Guan Xin's office, Kong Ming stomped his feet angrily. Did you guys find anything? Master Ming, it seems like Guan Xin knows something. Zhu Xiaozhong said. I think so too. Why do I feel like there's more to her words? Does she know about me and Xiaofun? Kong Ming was unhappy, but he couldn't ask Guan Xin directly. Master Ming, I don't think Guan Xin knows about you and Xiaofun. Wang Shubing shook his head. Oh, what do you mean? Kong Ming was surprised, but his face showed a happy expression. Master Ming, think about it. If Guan Xin knew about this, she wouldn't be so cold to you. She would hate you. Plus, when you asked her about Xiaofun for the first time, if she knew the whole story, she wouldn't just give you an "oh." She would probably mock you to vent her anger. Wang Shubing analyzed. That's right. That's true. Kong Ming Ming nodded and relaxed. Then it's easy. As long as Guan Xine doesn't know about it, then there's no problem. Master Ming, we can't let our guard down. Even if Guan Xine doesn't know about it now, she'll find out as soon as she interacts with Xiao Fun. So, we need to take measures as soon as possible, Wang Shubing suggested. Yes, haven't we been discussing this matter before? Do you have any good ideas to make Xiao Fun shut up? Kong Ming Ming was worried that Xiao Fun would say something. If this matter wasn't solved, it would be a ticking time bomb. Master Ming, to be honest, if we want Xiao Fun to shut up, I think we have to give her some money to keep her mouth shut. Wang Shubin hesitated and said, I'm afraid Xiao Fun still holds a grudge for what happened in the past. Whether it's physical or emotional damage, it's all very serious. She must hate you, Master Ming, so we have to compensate her to shut her mouth. Chapter 790. Visit and apologize. How much do we need to pay? Kong Ming Ming asked. I think at least this much. Wang Shubing extended his hand and hesitated. Wang Shubin raised a hand and hesitated. Now that Fun's got a relationship with Xiaobo and Lin Yi, her sights are much higher. Normal money won't be enough for her anymore. 500,000. It's a bit too much, but it's still acceptable. Kong Ming Ming nodded. Okay, I'll talk to my family and ask them to give me the money. We'll go find Xiao Fun tomorrow morning. We need to settle this as soon as possible before anything else happens. It's best to sign an agreement with Xiao Fun tomorrow. Our 500,000 will be her compensation. After she signs the agreement, she won't look into what happened in the past and can't mention it to anyone else. Wang Shubing suggested. Of course. What if she doesn't want to pay up after we give her the money? Kong Ming Ming nodded. The cut on my hand is too small. Does that mean we should make it more serious next time? There's no need to rush. Wang Shubing waved his hand. Master Ming, you caught a cold yesterday and cut your hand today. It's easy to raise suspicion. If you get injured again, Guan Xine will definitely feel that something's wrong. That's true, but I'm a bit scared when I think about making it more serious. A light cut is already so painful. How serious would it be? Kong Ming Ming was a bit scared just thinking about it. The most important thing now is to settle Xiao Fun's matter. Today was the second time Qibing Real Estate officially contacted the slums residents. It was hosted by Tsihua, Jin Gubong, and Zhong Fabai. The location was a temporary demolition office in front of the slums. The residents of the shanty town gathered in front of the demolition office early in the morning. Everyone was looking forward to this day. From their perspective, Qibing Real Estate must have come with sincerity this time. The forced demolition incident had caused a lot of trouble, and although it was settled privately, it still cost a lot of money. People who were close to Mrs. Tang all knew that Master Bing paid a huge price for this. From their perspective, Qibing Real Estate would learn from this lesson and discuss the compensation with the residents of the shantytown. Tsihua smiled coldly as he looked at the expectant faces of the slums residents. These people were truly laughably stupid. Did they really think that they'd be able to negotiate with them on equal terms just because of what happened with their forced demolition? How naive. Qibing Real Estate didn't have a lot of funds left, and they couldn't afford to compensate the slums residents. Qibing Real Estate was in a hurry to develop and launch their first building, so they had to be decisive. Zhao Qibing couldn't wait any longer. He had been in Songshan for so long without any results. How was he going to answer to House Zhao? Although House Zhao, including his father, hadn't said anything yet, Zhao Qibing thought that House Zhao must be very disappointed in him. If he couldn't even deal with these unruly people, how could he be in charge of the Zhao family in the future? Sihua's plan this time was very simple. He would trick the slums residents into coming to the demolition office and forcefully demolish them. The target of the demolition was the only building in the slums, a 3-story building made of red bricks. It was too troublesome to demolish one by one. Demolishing one or two wouldn't be effective. Only by making a group of people lose their homes would they be forced to accept the compensation from Qibing Real Estate. It would only take a few bulldozers to demolish the 3-story building. By the time the building was demolished, it would be too late for the residents to realize that something was wrong. Early in the morning, Xiaofun's parents followed the others to the demolition office, leaving Xiaofun at home. They thought that Xiaofun's legs weren't very good, and they were afraid that Xiaofun would be provoked again if there were any disputes during the negotiation. Just as her parents left, there was a knock on the door. Xiaofun thought that her parents had forgotten something and didn't think much about it. She walked over and opened the door. However, she was stunned when she opened the door. "What's wrong? Am I not welcome here?" Kong Ming smiled as he looked at Xiaofun in front of him. Damn, this girl was even prettier than before. If he wasn't so infatuated with her, he wouldn't mind playing with her for a while longer. You, Kong Ming, what are you doing at my house?" Xiaofun stared at Kong Ming in an unfriendly manner. If it was a month ago and Kong Xiaoming came looking for her, Xiaofun would probably be so happy that she wouldn't be able to control herself. But now, Xiaofun was nourished by a new love. She woke up from her infatuation and saw through Kong Ming's character. She cut off all thoughts of him. When she saw Kong Ming, it was like she was looking at a stranger. She couldn't even be compared to a stranger. After all, that hatred wasn't something that could be easily let go. This man had ruined her entire life. Although Kong Xiaobo treated her well and never despised her, Xiaofun always felt that she owed Kong Xiaobo. She couldn't give him a complete body. This made Xiaofun feel guilty whenever she thought about it. And the culprit that caused all this was Kong Ming. Why would Xiaofun treat him nicely? Kong Ming came alone. He didn't bring Wang Shubin and Zhu Xiaozhong because he wanted to put on a show for Xiaofun. He needed to show enough sincerity in order to shut Xiaofun up. Bringing Zhu Xiaozhong and Wang Shubin was to show that he was a young master. So, he didn't bring any of them so that Xiaofun wouldn't feel bad about it. "Xiaofun, I came today to talk to you." "Can you let me in first?" Kong Ming said with a smile. He tried to make his words sound sincere. "There's nothing to talk about between us." Xiaofun shook her head and was about to close the door. Kong Ming was shocked. He couldn't let Xiaofun close the door. Otherwise, wouldn't he come here for nothing? He quickly grabbed the door and said, "Xiaofun, don't close the door. I came today to apologize to you." "Apologize? Apologize for what?" Xiaofun frowned, but she didn't immediately close the door. "Xiaofun, I was young and frivolous in the past. I brought you a lot of pain. I came here today to apologize to you," Kong Ming said with sincerity. Chapter 791. 500,000, however, Kong Ming wasn't at ease when he heard those words. He had heard about Xiaofun's matter when he transferred to another school. Xiaofun was mentally ill because of him. So how could she not hate him? "Xiaofun, I'm really here to apologize sincerely today. Furthermore, I want to do my best to give you some compensation." Kong Ming said, "When I passed by the slums, I saw that there was some kind of mobilization meeting. Your house is going to be demolished, right? I think that buying a new house requires money as well. Why don't you let me in first?" "What do you mean? You want to give me money?" Xiaofun felt that it was unbelievable. She had seen through how cruel and unscrupulous Kong Ming was. Why did she find it hard to believe that Kong Ming was going to give her money? "Yeah, I was the one who hurt you in the past. It's my fault. Your legs are broken now, and you need money to see a doctor. I'm going to pay you a sum of money in one go. It can be considered as my atonement for what I did in the past." Kong Ming nodded. "Really?" Xiaofun was still in disbelief, because Kong Ming's words and actions today were too unbelievable. He was completely different from the Kong Ming in the past. "Of course it's true." Kong Ming nodded. "Xiaofun, don't doubt my sincerity. Look, it's not good for me to stand at the door. You don't want others to hear what happened between us, right? That's not good. You have your own life now. Why don't we talk about these scandals in the house? You can say what you want to say here. All the neighbors in this building have gone to the mobilization meeting. Aside from me, there's no one else." Xiaofun still had no intention of letting Kong Ming in. If that's the case, that's fine too. Kong Ming thought that since they had already left, it would be the same to say it here. Thus, he continued, "Xiaofun, we're adults now. Let's not talk about who was right and who was wrong in the past. I'll compensate you with 500,000. What do you think?" 500,000? Xiaofan was shocked. Xiaofan already felt that it was inconceivable when Kong Ming Ming mentioned compensation. Now that he wanted to compensate another 500,000, Xiaofan started to doubt Kong Ming Ming's motive. Yes, but after you take the money, we need to sign a brief agreement. I hope that you won't tell anyone about what happened between us, including the people around you. Kong Xiaoming said, after all, your boyfriend is my cousin. It's not good for House Kang's reputation if you keep bringing up things like this. Kong Xiaoming said. That's it. Xiaofan was still a little doubtful. Kong Ming Ming's reason was reasonable, but the key question was there anyone in the Kong family who didn't know about this? During the birthday banquet last time, Kong Xiaoming seemed to have exposed his own weakness and revealed this matter, right? Yes, if you don't believe me, you can take a look at the agreement between us. As long as you can do these, then the 500,000 is yours. As Kong Ming Ming said this, he took out an agreement from his bag and passed it to Xiaofan. Xiaofan took a look at the agreement. It was exactly what Kong Ming Ming said. It was for her not to pursue the past matters and not to mention the past matters to others. That was all, and she could get a one-time compensation of 500,000 from Kong Ming Ming. In fact, Xiaofan didn't pursue Kong Ming Ming's thoughts at all. She could only blame her own stupidity for the previous matters. If she really pursued it, what could she do to Kong Ming Ming? She couldn't pursue this kind of matter if one was willing to take the hit and the other was willing to take the hit. However, Xiaofan didn't want Kong Ming Ming's money. Although she was poor, she had a backbone. Lin Yi was Tang Yun's boyfriend, and Tang Yun would reject him even if he gave her money. Moreover, Kong Ming Ming was just an ex-boyfriend who hurt her. However, Xiaofan also knew that her family needed the money, so she couldn't make up her mind. She decided to give Kong Xiaobo a call to discuss it. Early in the morning, before Kong Xiaobo went to school, he called Lin Yi. Today, Qibing Real Estate was going to the slums to discuss the relocation. Kong Xiaobo was worried about Xiaofan, afraid that her family would be at a disadvantage. However, his words didn't carry much weight, and he knew that he wouldn't be able to do anything even if he went. So he asked Lin Yi to accompany him. Lin Yi drove Meng Yao's Audi S5 today. Since the miss allowed him to drive, there was no reason for Lin Yi to reject. The car arrived at the school gate, and Lin Yi pressed the horn twice. Kong Xiaobo was stunned as he had never seen Lin Yi's car before. Boss, your car. Kong Xiaobo looked at Lin Yi's Audi S5 in surprise. Meng Yao's. Lin Yi smiled. Get in, my car was blown up by Tsiwa. I was going to find him even if you didn't mention it. I'll go to the slums and ask him for money. The verbal agreement between Lin Yi and Tsiwa yesterday was no longer effective. After the car exploded, their relationship was torn apart. Tsiwa didn't believe that Lin Yi didn't know how the car exploded. As a result, their relationship entered a tense state again. The 5 million from before was wasted, and Lin Yi even wanted to ask for money for the car. Ugh, Tsiwa blew up your car? Kong Xiaobo was surprised. It's a long story, Lin Yi said. Let's talk on the way. Boss, thank you so much. Kong Xiaobo was a little embarrassed. As a follower, not only did he not help his boss, but he also troubled Lin Yi every day. Now, he even needed to trouble Lin Yi for Xiaofan's family. It's nothing. I already said that I'm going to find Tsiwa. Lin Yi didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Lin Yi had always been like this. He was very sincere to his friends and didn't ask for anything in return. In the car, Lin Yi told Kong Xiaobo about how he accompanied Tang Yun's family to ask for money from Tsiwa. He also told Kong Xiaobo why the car was blown up. Damn! Xiaobo was shocked when he heard that the collapse of Qibing skyscraper was caused by Lin Yi again. His boss was a little too strong, wasn't he? Qibing skyscraper was built twice and collapsed both times. Kong Xiaobo was completely speechless. Only Lin Yi could do such a thing after collapsing Qibing's skyscraper and making them pay for the car. When they were about to reach the slums, Kong Xiaobo's phone rang. He took it out and saw that it was Xiaofan. Chapter 792. Promise him first, Xiaobo. Kong Ming Ming came to my house. Xiaofan had to discuss it with Kong Xiaobo as a form of respect for Kong Xiaobo. Kong Ming Ming? What's he doing here? Kong Xiaobo and Kong Ming had basically severed all ties with each other. Ever since Dr. Kang's birthday banquet, the two families had stopped interacting with each other. He said that he did something wrong to me and wants to compensate me by giving me 500,000. Xiaofan told Kong Xiaobo about Kong Ming's intentions. What did you say? He came to your house to give you money? Kong Xiaobo was stunned. Did Kong Ming change his personality? It can't be, right? For someone like him to give money to Xiaofan, did he take the wrong medicine? Yes, and he even brought a contract with him. He said that he would give me the money if I sign it. Xiaofan said, the contract says that I can't look into what he did in the past, and I can't tell anyone about what happened between us. Xiaofan was a little embarrassed when she said that. After all, she felt that she had let Kong Xiaobo down. Kong Xiaobo frowned. He wanted Xiaofan to reject Kong Ming. We're poor, but we're ambitious. Wouldn't it make us look weak if we take Kong Ming's money? However, he knew that this wasn't the time to be impulsive. Xiaofan's family was lacking money, and Kong Xiaobo knew that as well. However, he was different from Linny. He couldn't give too much help to Xiaofan's family, and this money was undoubtedly a timely help to Xiaofan's family that was facing demolition. Let me ask my boss and see what he says. Kong Xiaobo decided to ask for Lin Yi's opinion. If Lin Yi also insisted on not letting him take the money, then he would rather suffer a little. However, when Kong Xiaobo told Lin Yi about Xiaofan's words, Lin Yi didn't even think about it and said, yes, do you still want free money? If he didn't want the enemy's money, he would be treating himself unfairly. But tell her not to sign the agreement just yet. Wait until we check it out and see if there's any problem. All right, then I'll tell her now. Kong Xiaobo thought that Lin Yi was right. Why wouldn't he want his opponent's money? Didn't Lin Yi still chase after Tsihua for money? Didn't he feel that it was inappropriate? It seemed like he was thinking too much. If he didn't want the enemy's money for the sake of face, that would be stupid. Kong Xiaobo quickly told Xiaofan about Lin Yi's intention and told her not to reject it. She just had to wait for her and Lin Yi to go over. Oh, okay. Xiaofan heard Kong Xiaobo say that Lin Yi wanted her to ask for money, and she felt grateful towards Lin Yi. This money was undoubtedly too important to her family. It was equivalent to sending charcoal in a snowy day. Even if Qibing Real Estate Company could compensate according to the standard, it was undoubtedly a drop in the bucket for the families. Because the housing prices in Songshan weren't cheap, how could there be so many houses in remote areas for them to buy? If they followed the current compensation, they wouldn't be able to buy a new house at all. They could only rent a house, and it wouldn't be convenient for them to live in that way. With this 500,000, Xiaofan's family would be able to buy a big house. Xiaofan was really afraid that Kong Xiaobo would ask her to reject it, so she could only reject it. Xiaobo said that he'll be here soon. Come in and wait for a while. I'll sign the contract with you when he's here and confirm it. Xiaofan got Kong Xiaobo's reply and calmed down. She let Kong Ming into the house since it wasn't appropriate to stand in the hallway. Okay. Kong Ming heard Xiaofan's words and immediately felt that there was a chance. He nodded happily. Don't worry. Look at the contract and follow it from now on. We'll be even. Oh. Fan nodded and went into the room. She started reading her book and ignored Kong Xiaoming, who was sitting on the sofa. However, it didn't matter to Kong Ming. It didn't matter if Xiaofan ignored him or not. As long as Xiaofan took the money and kept her mouth shut, he could successfully pursue Guan Xin. Kong Ming felt extremely happy as he thought that his plan was about to come to fruition. Your house hasn't changed after so many years. It's still so broken, huh? Oh, Xiaofan frowned. She wanted to get angry, but she felt that it wasn't worth it to get angry at someone like Kong Ming. She casually agreed and continued reading. A few years ago, Kong Ming came to Xiaofan's house and said that he would buy a house for her family. Xiaofan was so touched that she gave her true love and body to him. In the end, Kong Ming was done with her and felt that Xiaofan was a bit clingy. He was afraid that she would stick to him, so he quickly got rid of her. When Lin Yi drove past the shantytown, he saw a few big open-air tents and metal houses. The words Demolition Office and Qibing Real Estate's logo were written on it. However, Lin Yi didn't stop. He could ask Li Zihua for money at any time. The most important thing now was to go to Xiao Fun's house and solve the problem of Kong Mingming. To be honest, Lin Yi didn't quite believe that Kong Xiaoming would be so kind as to compensate Fun on his own accord. With Kong Xiaoming's arrogant personality, there was no way he'd lower his head for no reason. This reminded Lin Yi of what happened yesterday. Li Zihua compensated Tang Yun's house for no reason. He must have some ulterior motives. That was why Lin Yi didn't let Xiao Fan sign the agreement with Kong Mingming directly. He wanted to see it first. Boss, why do you think Kong Mingming would suddenly give money to Xiao Fan? Would he have that kind of thoughts towards Xiao Fan again? Kong Xiaobo also felt that something was wrong. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. Haha, that's not the case. If Kong Mingming went to look for Xiao Fan, wouldn't he be slapping his own face? I think that he has a conspiracy, but we don't know what he's planning. Lin Yi said, let's go and see. Kong Xiaobo nodded. Now that Lin Yi was helping him, he felt at ease. When the car was about to reach Xiao Fan's house, it couldn't go through. There were a few trenching machines and bulldozers blocking the road. Lin Yi frowned and pressed the horn twice. The drivers of the excavators and bulldozers were chatting by the roadside when they heard the car honk. They were a little annoyed at first, but when they saw Lin Yi's red Audi S5, they put on a smile. Someone who could drive a car like that had to be rich and powerful, and they couldn't afford to mess with them. Chapter 793. Kong Mingming's true purpose. If it was someone else, he wouldn't bother to explain, but Lin Yi was driving a sports car and looked like a rich kid. Who knew what his background was? He might even know the boss of the corporation, Master Bing. How would they dare to offend him? Demolish the building? Lin Yi was startled and looked at the direction they were pointing. Wasn't that Xiao Fan's building? Xiaobo, on the other hand, was taken aback as well. These people wanted to tear down Fan's building, but Xiao Fan was still at home. What should he do? Boss! Just as Kong Xiaobo opened his mouth, he was stopped by Lin Yi. He patted Kong Xiaobo's shoulder and gave him a comforting look. Oh, then when are you going to start? Lin Yi looked at Xiao Fan's building and asked calmly. Who are you? Why are you asking so many questions? The driver looked at Lin Yi vigilantly. Oh, I want to wait for you guys to finish demolishing the building before going over. I'm going to the old house over there to get some stuff. Didn't you say that it's going to be demolished? I don't care about the compensation. I'll take the stuff away and you guys can demolish it however you want. Lin Yi said with the tone of a rich young master. Oh, we'll start at 8 o'clock sharp. It might be over at 10 o'clock. But we're only demolishing this building today. We won't demolish the old house. You can come and get it tomorrow, the driver said to Lin Yi after hearing what Lin Yi said. That's fine too. I'll come tomorrow. Lin Yi turned the car around and drove away. He circled around the shantytown and stopped at a hidden place. Boss, they're going to demolish the building. Xiao Fan is still inside. Kong Xiaobo said anxiously. It's only 7:35. There's still 25 minutes left. We have enough time. Lin Yi smiled and got off the car. Let's go and see Kong Mingming. But boss, why didn't you tell them that there's still someone in the building? Kong Mingming didn't understand. If I told them, there wouldn't be a good show. You'll know in a while. Lin Yi said as he ran towards Fun's red brick 3-story building, entering the family's unit. Xiaobo didn't know what was going on, but seeing how confident Lin Yi was, he didn't say anything else out of his trust in Lin Yi. He followed Lin Yi up the stairs in a hurry. Listen to me later, don't talk too much. Lin Yi said as he knocked on the door. Okay, boss, Kong Xiaobo nodded. He would listen to Lin Yi's words unconditionally. Lin Yi knocked on the door, and Xiao Fan quickly came to open the door. When she saw Kong Xiaobo and Lin Yi, she was overjoyed. You're here. Kong Mingming also stood up from the sofa. When he saw Kong Xiaobo and Lin Yi, hatred flashed through his eyes, but he quickly hid it. Xiaobo, Lin Yi, I'm here to apologize to you with sincerity. Lin Yi naturally saw the hatred that flashed through Kong Mingming's eyes. He didn't believe that Kong Mingming was here to apologize with sincerity. Kong Mingming probably had an ulterior motive for coming here. Kong Xiaobo remembered Lin Yi's words. He didn't speak much and ignored Kong Mingming. Instead, he turned to look at Xiao Fun. Xiao Fun, are you all right? I'm fine. Kong Ming came here, and he was very polite. He didn't do anything overboard. Xiao Fun shook her head. Kong Xiaobo was relieved. He was afraid that Kong Ming would say some insulting words to provoke Xiao Fun. Xiao Fun had just recovered from her illness, so how could she endure any provocation? Kong Ming, right? Just tell me what your motive is. Lin sat on the sofa and looked at his watch. I'll give you 10 minutes. It was 7:40 p.m. right now. 10 minutes would be 7:50 p.m. There was still plenty of time. Kong Ming was angry in his heart. What's with Lin Yi's attitude? I'm here to give you money, but you have this kind of attitude? You're really unreasonable. But seeing that Kong Xiaobo and Xiao Fan didn't speak, it seemed like Lin Yi was still the leader here. If he wanted to achieve his motive, he had to talk to Lin Yi. He could only say, I feel that I owed Xiao Fan in the past. So this time, I'm here to compensate her a sum of money. It can also be considered as making up for my previous mistake. Do you think I'll believe what you said? Lin Yi sneered. All right, just tell me what your motive is. Xiao Fan doesn't need you to compensate her. Ugh. Kong Ming was stunned. He didn't expect Lin Yi's attitude to be so unyielding. But he couldn't leave at this moment. How could he leave before he achieved his motive? In other words, he must give the money today. Kong Xiaobo and Xiao Fan were also surprised by Lin Yi's unyielding attitude. Wasn't he chasing Kong Ming away? Didn't he say that he would accept the money? But since Lin Yi was the leader here, they didn't interrupt and waited for Lin Yi to deal with it. All right, our Kong family is going to be promoted to a noble family soon, so I don't want to hear any rumors about me outside. Kong Xiaoming sighed and said, I don't want Fan to tell anyone about what happened between me and her, especially in public. For example, in the hospital with the nurses and the like. Don't tell anyone. Lin Yi listened to Kong Ming's half-truth and half-lies. He only understood his real motive when he heard the last sentence. Hospital nurse? Isn't that Guan Xin? Lin Yi sneered in his heart. This guy wanted to pursue Guan Xin, but he was afraid that Guan Xin would find out about the things he did in the past. Moreover, he might have seen that Xiao Fan and Guan Xin knew each other. That's why he wanted to find Xiao Fan to shut her mouth. 500,000 could be considered as a hush money. Isn't that enough? If you have a motive, just say it. Isn't it just hush money? All right, we'll accept it. Lin Yi waved his hand and said impatiently, Where's the money? It's so early in the morning. I don't have a place to withdraw money, but it's already in my bank card. Kong Ming took out a bank card from his pocket and said to Lin Yi, In the bank card? How do we know if there's money in the card? Lin Yi didn't believe it. You can check at the bank. There's a bank nearby. Kong Ming said, All right, we'll check at the bank first. If there's really money in it, we'll come back to sign the agreement. Lin Yi took the bank card from Kong Ming's hand and said to him, Then I'll follow you. Kong Ming wasn't assured. This is Xiao Fan's house. Are you afraid that we won't come back? Lin Yi smiled. Chapter 794. There's someone else in the building. No problem. Lin Yi said, Since I promised you, I won't go back on my word. Your agreement is not binding. So since you can take out the money, you can only trust us. Kong Ming thought that what Lin Yi said made sense. The agreement was just a formality. It really couldn't bind anything. Even if Xiao Fan didn't say it, Lin Yi and Kong Xiaobo could still say it. You can't make everyone sign a confidentiality agreement, right? Thinking of this, Kong Ming was relieved. Then I believe you. Come back quickly. Is there a TV here? Let me watch for a while. Yes, but the sunlight is too bright. Xiao Fan, close the curtains and turn on the TV for Kong Ming. Lin Yi said to Xiao Fan. Although Xiao Fan was curious as to why Lin Yi would treat Kong Ming so well, she still did as she was told. The TV in Xiao Fan's house was the most old-fashioned spherical 21-inch TV. It had long been obsolete, but it could still be put up with. Kong Ming was happy and didn't mind. He sat on the sofa and watched the children's channel with great interest. Lin Yi brought Kong Xiaobo and Xiao Fan downstairs. It was exactly 7:55 p.m., and the workers on the bulldozer and trenching machine were ready to come over to demolish the house. Kong Xiaobo finally understood what Lenny meant. He wanted to keep Kong Ming in Xiao Fun's house and wait for the bulldozer to demolish it. What the heck, isn't this too ruthless? Could it smash Kong Ming to death? Kong Xiaobo looked pitifully at the three-story building behind him and followed Lin Yi and Xiao Fun to where Lin Yi parked his car. Before the three of them reached the car, they heard the sound of a bulldozer and trenching machine. Then, accompanied by a loud, rumbling sound, half of the three-story red brick building was pushed down in an instant. Xiao Fun covered her mouth in shock as she watched in disbelief as her house was demolished in an instant. Find a bank and withdraw the money. Lin, he wasn't in the mood to care about Kong Xiaoming's life or death. It was better if this kind of person died. He didn't kill him anyways. Let House Kong go find Zhao Qibing. But Kong Xiaoming. Xiao Fun had never harmed anyone before. Seeing Kong Xiaoming get smashed in front of her, she couldn't accept it. In my house. I have to tell my parents. You already have 500,000. Why care about your house? Kong Xiaobo was open-minded. It's better to smash someone like Kong Ming to death. Who asked him to hurt you so deeply? Xiao Fun sighed. Since Kong Xiaobo said so, she could only nod. If she said too much, it would make Kong Xiaobo think that she still had feelings for Kong Ming. Lin Yi drove Xiao Fun and Kong Xiaobo to a bank and withdrew the money smoothly. It was an anonymous savings card. He didn't know what Kong Ming was thinking. Why did he hand over the money so easily? He used Xiao Fun's name to open an account, and the 500,000 fell into Xiao Fun's pocket. Lin Yi, on the other hand, drove back to the slums. At this time, in the slums, the residents of the three-story red brick building were in an uproar. They didn't expect that Sihua would dare to demolish their house after what happened to Tang Yin's house. And this time, it wasn't a one-story house, but a three-story red brick building. Standing beside Sihua, Gubong, and Fabai was a group of bulky men dressed in black with sunglasses on. The residents of the three-story red brick building were displeased, but they didn't dare make a move. Sihua, Gubong, and Fabai were standing beside a group of bulky men. Xiao Fun's parents thought that since their house was a building, they could at least ask for more compensation, right? When the time came, they would ask Mrs. Tang to ask Lin Yi for help and see if they could get a cheaper house with a better location. The residents of the other buildings had similar thoughts. Since their house was a building, shouldn't they get more compensation? But now, these people's dreams were shattered. Their houses were gone, and they didn't even have the capital to negotiate. They had to take the money, even if they didn't want it. What else could they do? Of course, this was secondary. When they saw that their house was demolished, the first thing that came to their parents' mind was that Xiao Fun was still at home. What would happen to Xiao Fun if the house was demolished? Xiao Fun's mother wanted to run home like crazy, and so did Xiao Fun's father. They followed the residents of the three-story red brick building and ran home together. The first thought of the residents of the slums who had their houses demolished was to run home as well. Their furniture and appliances were still in their houses, and they wanted to save as much as they could, right? However, they were all blocked by the burly men. These burly men wouldn't let them go back. People had almost died during the previous demolition, so there was no way Sihua was going to let them get away this time around. That was why he got some of Zhong Fabai's men to stop them. Let me go back, my daughter is still in the building, move away. Xiao Fun's mother ignored the burly men's obstruction and tried to push them away, rushing out of the human wall. The burly man panicked after being pushed by Xiao Fun's mother. He grabbed her hair and pushed her back. How could Xiao Fun's mother be a match for the burly man? She screamed in pain as a bunch of her hair was pulled out, and her face was slapped by the burly man. Stay here if you don't want to die. Mom. Xiao Fun saw her mother being beaten up by a burly man just as she got out of the car. She was so scared that she was on the verge of tears. She didn't care about her weak legs and quickly ran toward her mother. Kong Xiaobo, on the other hand, was worried about Xiao Fun, and seeing his future mother-in-law being beaten up, he was furious as well. He wanted to fight the burly man with his life. Naturally, Lin Yi wouldn't let Kong Xiaobo be at a disadvantage. He wasn't a match for these burly men. Lin Yi locked the car and rushed over with Kong Xiaobo. Before Kong Xiaobo could make a move, he kicked the waist of the burly man who was beating up Xiao Fun's mother. The kick sent the man flying, and he landed on the ground with a bang. His eyes rolled back, and he fainted. Kong Xiaobo knew that Lin Yi was strong, but he didn't expect Lin Yi to be able to create such a strong effect with just one kick. He was surprised, but he didn't forget to remind Lin Yi, "Boss, be careful." The other burly men didn't expect Lin Yi to rush over and start beating people up and in such a ruthless manner. They immediately stopped what they were doing and surrounded Lin Yi. Chapter 795. Lin Yi came again. Why the hell was he so unlucky? Of all people, he had to hit the mother of Lin Yi's woman. How could Lin Yi not be angry? And the agreement he made with Lin Yi yesterday was automatically nullified with the explosion of the bomb. His relationship with Lin Yi had once again fallen to a freezing point. It was reasonable for Lin Yi to come here and cause trouble. However, Zhong Fabai's men actually wanted to surround Lin Yi, and Sihua was immediately afraid. Damn it, you guys don't know what's good for you. Lin Yi was a master that even a mystic class master had to rest in bed. You idiots still want to cause trouble for Lin Yi? Aren't you looking for death? Besides, if these people were beaten down by Lin Yi, then the slums wouldn't need to be demolished. If the men who intimidated the residents were beaten up by Lin Yi, who else could be intimidated? Stop! Sihua couldn't help but yell as he sprinted over. However, Sihua was a step too late. One of the men who was on good terms with the man who was kicked by Lin Yi wanted to avenge him and made him move first. The result was the same as the previous man. He was sent flying and crashed into the body of the previous man. His eyes rolled, and it was unknown if he was dead or alive. Sihua ran over, sweating profusely. He couldn't help but sigh. "Lin Yi, why are you here? Didn't we agree yesterday that you wouldn't interfere with the slum's demolition?" "I didn't interfere. My friend's girlfriend's mother was beaten up, and I can't fight back?" Lin Yi didn't put Sihua in his eyes at all. He was too lazy to explain. "Where's my car money? You blew up my car. When are you going to pay me?" The men under Zhong Fabai were dumbfounded. On one hand, they were afraid of Lin Yi's skills. Before they could see what was going on, two of them were already down. On the other hand, it was strange that Lin Yi dared to speak to Sihua with such an attitude. Wasn't he afraid of the power behind Sihua? "Naturally, I won't forget your money." Sihua sighed inwardly at his bad luck. She just had to hit the mother of Lin Yi's little brother's girlfriend. Although their relationship was complicated, it was understandable for Lin Yi to intervene. "I will pay for the medical fees." "Oh, what about the demolition fees?" Lin Yi continued to ask. "I will pay the demolition fees according to the rules," Sihua said through gritted teeth. This was one of the conditions he'd promised Lin Yi, and now that Lin Yi wouldn't interfere, this was the only compensation he could offer. If Lin Yi were to interfere again, he'd have to call it quits. In the face of a tyrant like Lin Yi, Sihua really had no temper at all. He couldn't kill him in the open, so he played dirty and blew up his building. He couldn't afford to offend this person for now, but couldn't he just hide from him? "Oh, all right, I'm here to supervise you." Lin Yi nodded. It was just a small matter for him, but for the residents of the slums, it was a huge benefit. According to the standard compensation, although they couldn't use the compensation money to buy a new house, at least they could afford a loan to buy a house. It was also a psychological comfort for them. Xiao Fun's parents were relieved when they saw that Xiao Fun was fine. Xiao Fun's mother also forgot the pain on her face. She hugged Xiao Fun lovingly. "Child, it's good that you're fine. You scare me to death. It's Xiaobo and Lin Yi who saved me." Xiao Fun sighed. "But Kong Mingming might be dead." "Kong Mingming? Crushed to death? How did he die? Is that true? If he's smashed to death, it'll be a great thing." Xiao Fun's mother was stunned for a moment before she said happily. Looking at her mother's expression, Xiao Fun knew that her mother hated Kong Mingming to the core. She was actually so happy when she heard that he was dead. Although Xiao Fun hated Kong Xiaoming, she felt bad for not stopping him when she saw him getting crushed to death with her own eyes. She could have saved him, but she didn't. She was a kind person. Even if Kong Ming Ming did some unforgivable things to her, Xiao Fan never thought of killing him. Besides, it's a long story. Xiao Fan told her mother about Kong Ming Ming's visit this morning, including the fact that Kong Ming Ming compensated her with 500,000. Are you serious? He gave you 500,000? It seems like he's not a bad person. Xiao Fan's mother was stunned. She didn't expect Kong Ming Ming to compensate her daughter 500,000. He wasn't completely heartless, but he still had some conscience. She was envious of Tang Juanqing's mother's family, saying that Tang Juanqing's leg was broken and they actually paid 3 million. Xiao Fan's leg was broken too, but no one paid. She didn't expect it to become reality today. Life was really magical. Sometimes, things would change overnight. I don't know, but he told Lin Yi that it's hush money. He doesn't want me to mention the past with him in front of others. Xiao Fan said to her mother, Lin Yi said that Kong Ming Ming wanted to wound Nurse Guan Xin in the hospital. He was afraid that I would cause trouble for him. So he gave me 500,000. Is that so? A dog can't stop eating sh*t. Xiao Fan's mother was furious when she heard that Kong Ming Ming gave her money. Then we should take this money. It's a waste if we don't take it. We should take all the money from this kind of person in the future. Xiao Fan heard that her mother said the same. She didn't feel the pressure in her heart anymore and nodded. Fan's mother was very happy. Lin Yi's arrival had forced Sihua to compensate the slums residents according to the standards, and they'd gotten 500,000 out of nowhere. It was a pleasant surprise, and it was more than enough to buy a big house with this amount of money. They'd even have money left for appliances, furniture, and renovations. She decided to look for Tang Juanqing's mother in the afternoon and ask her to bring her to see a house. Her house was already gone, so she had to settle this matter as soon as possible. On the other side, Zihua's tone suddenly changed. He wanted to compensate the slums residents according to the standard. The slums residents who were harassed stopped making a fuss. In fact, their request was very simple. As long as they could compensate according to the standard, it would be enough. They didn't expect a rich and powerful real estate company like Sihua to compensate them more money. In fact, they didn't dare to go against Sihua. Sihua's name was very famous in Songshan. He was the boss of the underworld. Chapter 796. A tragedy for Kong Ming Ming. Just as he was thinking about it, Kong Ming Ming suddenly felt that the ground was trembling. Was it an earthquake? In the next moment, an even stronger tremor came. Kong Ming Ming felt as if the house was hit by a meteor. He staggered from the tremor. Kong Ming Ming ran to the window subconsciously. He was shocked to see a few trenching machines and forklifts pushing the house he was in. Hey, there's someone in the house. Kong Ming Ming panicked and shouted at the window. However, the noise from the trenching machines and bulldozers was so loud that no one could hear Kong Ming Ming's voice. It was drowned out by the noise. Don't demolish it. There's someone in the house. Hey. Kong Ming Ming almost peed in his pants. There's someone in here. No one bothered. In fact, no one could hear Kong Ming Ming's voice. Fuck your second uncle. I'm still in the house. Kong Ming Ming panicked and shouted at the top of his lungs. However, no one could hear his voice. Kong Ming Ming was out of ideas. He could only think of a way himself. If he jumped from the third floor, he would probably die. Even if he didn't die, he would be crippled. Kong Ming Ming wouldn't do such a stupid thing. However, it was too late for him to go down the stairs. The bulldozers downstairs had already destroyed all the doors. Kong Ming Ming thought for a long time and couldn't think of any good ideas. He didn't expect himself to be so unlucky. Why was he forced to demolish his house when he was waiting for Xiao Fan to come back? He lived in a wealthy family and had never experienced something like this. He never thought that such misfortune would happen to him. Kong Ming Ming was out of ideas. He was afraid of being crushed to death. He could only crawl under the bed. He heard that it was safe under the bed during an earthquake. In an instant, the 3-story red brick building became a pile of rubble. Zhu Xiaozhang and Wang Shubing waited for a while. Kong Ming Ming didn't come back. They became anxious and dialed Kong Ming Ming's number. The phone rang more than 10 times, but no one picked up. Even after the phone automatically hung up, no one picked up. Wang Shubing was anxious. He dialed again and waited for a while. Finally, someone picked up. Kong Ming Ming was buried in a pile of rubble. Fortunately, Xiao Fun's house was on the top floor. If it was on the first or second floor, no matter how sturdy the bed was, it wouldn't have been able to withstand the pressure. Before, the house had completely collapsed. Kong Ming Ming only felt that his head hit something and fainted. When he woke up again, he was woken up by the ringing of his phone. Kong Ming Ming subconsciously reached for his phone. He felt a sharp pain in his legs. It seemed like they were broken. However, Kong Ming Ming was glad that he didn't die. "Hey, Wang Shubing, come and save me. Xiao Fun's house was demolished. I'm in the rubble now. I think my legs are broken. It hurts." Kong Ming Ming cried as he picked up the phone. Master Ming, wait for me. We'll go now." Wang Shubing was shocked when he heard Kong Ming Ming's words. Why was Xiao Fun's house demolished? Why was Kong Ming Ming still inside? Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong called the police and the ambulance. Then they ran to the demolition office and found Sihua, who was negotiating with the owner of the house. "Our boss was buried inside the building. Who's the person in charge here?" Zhu Xiaozhong shouted arrogantly as he entered the office. Sihua thought that someone was trying to kill him. He raised his head and saw that it was Zhu Xiaozhong. He frowned. He knew this Zhu Xiaozhong. He was a follower of Dr. Kang's family, Kong Ming Ming. When the Qibing skyscraper was completed, Kong Ming Ming brought Zhu Xiaozhong and Wang Shubing to participate. "Zhu Xiaozhong, what are you doing?" Sihua wasn't afraid of him. Even if Dr. Kang's family was famous, House Xiao was much more powerful than House Kong. Sihua bro." Although Zhu Xiaozhong knew that Zhao Qibing was in charge of the slums, he thought that it was a small fry. He didn't expect it to be Sihua. But even if it was Sihua, he still had to say, "Sihua bro, my boss, Kong Ming Ming, is in that 3-story red brick building over there. You guys just demolished the building." Sihua's head buzzed. Kong Ming Ming was still in that building? What was Kong Ming Ming doing there? Although House Zhao wasn't afraid of House Kong, they had to give an explanation for smashing Kong Ming Ming to death. This wasn't like smashing an ordinary person. House Kang's influence was huge. House Zhao even had to buy a batch of golden creation from House Kong every year. "What? Kong Ming Ming is still there?" Sihua asked hurriedly. "Yeah, we've already called the police and the ambulance. Hurry up and tell those demolition workers to stop. My boss is still alive, but his leg is broken," Zhu Xiaozhong said. Sihua let out a sigh of relief when he heard that Kong Ming Ming wasn't dead. As long as he wasn't dead, everything would be fine. He just had to pay a sum of money for the broken leg. House Kong wouldn't say anything about it. "Gubong, phone by. You guys stay here and take care of the compensation agreement. I'll go take a look." Sihua felt that today was really a bad day. He had just settled the matter with Lin Yi, and now Kong Ming Ming of House Kong was smashed. After settling the matters here, Sihua, Wang Shubing, and Zhu Xiaozhong ran towards the 3-story red brick building. Fortunately, Sihua's order was only to demolish the red brick building, so the trenching machine and bulldozer didn't do anything else after demolishing the building. Otherwise, if they pushed the building a few more times, Kong Ming Ming would be dead. The police's rescue was timely. Soon, Kong Ming Ming was carried out of the rubble by the firemen. At this moment, Kong Ming's face was covered in blood. After a preliminary check, only his head was smashed and his legs were broken. There were no other problems. It was a blessing in disguise. Sihua stayed behind to cooperate with the police investigation, while Wang Shubing and Zhu Xiaozhong followed the ambulance and sent Kong Ming Ming to the First People's Hospital. At this moment, Sihua wasn't afraid of anything. He had already reached an agreement with the residents of the building. Even if the police were to investigate, it wouldn't matter. As for Kong Ming Ming's incident, it was just an accident. Kong Ming Ming had a bitter expression on his face as he lay in the ambulance, moaning in pain. He had never suffered like this since he was young. Now that both his legs were broken, it was unimaginable pain. "Fuck, Sihua, I won't let you go," Kong Ming Ming said fiercely. Chapter 797. Did he do it on purpose? I remember this. When House Kong becomes strong, I'll make them pay. Kong Ming Ming was just saying it. He couldn't do anything to Zhao Qibing. Master Zhao Ming, but I think this is a blessing in disguise. Wang Shubin shook his head and said to Kong Xiaoming, "Oh, what do you mean? Is my broken leg a good thing?" Kong Ming Ming froze. He was so angry that he wanted to curse. This Wang Shubing. He didn't know how to persuade people? Master Ming, think about it. Didn't you want to get a serious injury before? Wang Shubing said, "Look, isn't there one now? It's an accident, and Guan Xian won't suspect anything." Yeah, now that you mention it, it really is the case. Kong Ming Ming heard Wang Shubing's words and became happy again. Wang Shubing, you're right. My broken leg is a good thing. This time, I can go to Guan Xian directly. Yeah, Master Ming and Li Zihua said that he'll compensate you for your medical expenses. This way, not only will you be able to get close to Guan Xian, but you'll also get money. This is killing two birds with one stone. Wang Shubing nodded. If we hurt ourselves, not only would we suffer, no one would compensate us. Huh, then I'm so lucky. Huh, today is my lucky day. I got so many things done, and I even got money. Wahaha. Kong Ming Ming laughed when he heard that. The ambulance screamed all the way to the hospital, and Kong Xiaoming was carried on a stretcher to the emergency room. Although Kong Ming Ming's injuries weren't light, he was still very happy. He was going to suffer anyway, and this was a good thing. He got himself a serious injury, and now Kong Ming Ming would be able to get close to Guan Xian. Other than the broken leg, Kong Ming Ming didn't have any other internal injuries. The surgery was done quickly, and Kong Ming Ming was pushed to the sick room to rest. Where's Guan Xian? Why isn't she here yet? Kong Ming Ming was lying in the sick room, and he was eager to try. Look at my face and legs. It's so serious. Hurry and get Guan Xian here. Master Ming, I'll go right now. Wang Shubing nodded. He thought that Guan Xian couldn't decline this time. Could she? Thus, Wang Shubing rushed out of the sick room to find Guan Xian. He thought that this was Guan Xian's responsibility after all. Coincidentally, Guan Xian was still in the nurse's room. Wang Shubing ran in, and when he saw Guan Xian, he was overjoyed. Nurse Guan Xian, you're here. Master Ming is injured, and we need your help. Look, we don't have any friends in the hospital. Can you go and take a look? Guan Xian didn't think that Kong Ming Ming wouldn't stop. He came looking for her every day. Why was this person so annoying? Was there an end to it? Are there no other nurses to take care of him? I didn't receive any notice to take care of Kong Ming Ming. Guan Xian pointed at her work schedule and explained patiently. Regardless of whether Kong Ming Ming was annoying or not, Guan Xian couldn't throw a tantrum. Guan Xian knew that she was a member of the hospital, and anything she said or did could affect the hospital's image, especially when her father was a shareholder of the hospital. Guan Xian had to be strict with herself and not let others talk behind her back. Even if not many people knew Guan Xian's real identity, Guan Xian didn't want to bring shame to her father and grandfather. No, Master Ming is lying in the sick room, and I didn't see any nurses come to take care of him. I don't know who to look for. You're the only one I know here. Wang Shubing started to talk nonsense. No one cares. Guan Xian was taken aback. Seriously? Could it be that someone was negligent? This kind of thing wasn't impossible. The hospital sent too many patients at the same time. If there were careless doctors and nurses, then they might really have neglected a patient. Although Guan Xian felt that the guy Wang Shubing was talking about was more likely, it was a matter of life and death. Even if Guan Xian knew that it was fake, she couldn't ignore it because of her duty as a nurse and the family she represented. But didn't Kong Ming Ming just have a cold? Also, he had a small cut on his hand. Both of these illnesses weren't fatal. Yes, could you please go take a look? Can you help bandage it first and then contact a doctor? Wang Shubing nodded. But didn't he stay in the hospital for a few days because of a cold? Why should I bandage it? This isn't under my jurisdiction, right? Guan Xian changed the topic and said sarcastically, could it be that the wound on his hand acted up again? This. Wang Shubing suddenly remembered that he was in a hurry and didn't tell her the whole story. No wonder Guan Xian didn't know what happened. He quickly explained, it's like this, Master Ming's cold is cured, and the wound on his hand is also healed. He was discharged from the hospital today. Then why is he bandaging it? Guan Xian was even more confused. After he was discharged, Master Ming went to the shantytown to do some work, but he ran into a developer who was forcefully demolishing the place. As a result, my boss was hospitalized. Both of his legs are broken, and his head is also injured. It's really miserable. Nurse Guan Xian, could you please go and take a look? Wang Shubing said pitifully. Guan Xian heard Wang Shubing's words and suddenly froze. No way. How could it be so coincidental? He just left the hospital and he's here again? Could it be that Kong Ming Ming got hit on purpose? It wasn't strange for Guan Xian to think this way. When she first met Kong Ming was still full of energy, but then he was hospitalized with a cold. He came to find her to give him an injection. When he heard that she wasn't responsible for the injection, he made a wound and asked her to bandage it. When he heard that his wound was very small and didn't need to be bandaged, he made another serious injury today. Therefore, Guan Xian couldn't help but think that Kong Ming Ming purposely injured himself to get close to her. If that was the case, Guan Xian felt that Kong Ming was an idiot. Was there something wrong with his brain to chase after a girl like that? He should go see a psychiatrist or a neurologist. Nurse Guan Xian, you're the only person we know in this hospital. Could you please go and take a look? Wang Shubing saw that Guan Xian was shocked and quickly continued. Chapter 798. My family's fake Wang Shubin happily brought Guan Xian to Kong Xiaoming's room when he saw that Guan Xian had agreed. Kong Ming was overjoyed when he saw that Wang Shubing really brought Guan Xian. In order to arouse Guan Xian's maternal instincts and make her sympathize with him, Kong Ming started to cry. It hurts, my face, my legs. Guan Xian didn't think that a grown man like Kong Ming would be so fragile, crying in pain. Isn't the bandaging good? How come no one's taking care of it? Guan Xian saw that both of Kong Ming's legs were in plaster casts and splints. It was already taken care of. It wasn't Wang Shubing who said that no one was taking care of him. I mean no one's coming to take care of him. Wang Shubing laughed dryly. He wanted to trick Guan Xian into coming here first. As for what happened after she came, he would just play it by ear. His legs aren't normal injuries anymore. It's too serious. It's already considered orthopedic care. I can't do that. There's a professional orthopedic nurse to take care of it. Guan Xian said, I'll help him contact an orthopedic nurse. Kong Ming was dumbfounded. How come it's too heavy? The small cut was too light, and now it's too heavy? It's already upgraded to orthopedic care? But this wasn't something he could control. He didn't want to break his legs. Kong Ming was furious. He wanted to curse the people who did the demolition work in the slums. Why did they have to hit him so hard? Wouldn't Guan Xian be able to take care of him if they hit him a little lighter? Why did he miss out on Guan Xian again? Wasn't he too unlucky? That Master Ming's legs will be taken care of by an orthopedic nurse, but I'm talking about the wound on his head. The wound on his head is also very serious. What if it's not treated properly and it leaves a scar? Wang Shubin's eyes lit up. He shifted his attention to Kong Ming's face. Nurse Guan Xian, look at how handsome Master Ming is. If he gets disfigured, he won't be able to face people in the future, right? We can't trust anyone else, so we can only trust an acquaintance like you. Kong Ming was overjoyed when he heard Wang Shubin's words. This Wang Shubin was indeed a strategist. His mind was fast. Just like that, he thought a way to keep Guan Xian, even he didn't expect it. That's right, his leg was too serious, but his head wasn't. It was just a big hole. Wasn't that Guan Xian's area of responsibility? So he quickly echoed, yes, it's still our own people who are sure of it. If it's an outsider, I won't be so careful. I don't want to be disfigured. Oh, I can't do it without leaving a wound. Guan Xian pouted. I'm not Dr. Kong. I don't have Dr. Kang's golden creation. My family's miracle Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine is fake. It's not effective. If you're afraid of leaving a scar, you should apply some Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine. It's very effective, and you have plenty of it at home. Kong Ming Ming suddenly remembered that his family's Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine was the bane of external injuries. Moreover, Guan Xian's words were filled with sarcasm. Kong Ming Ming knew that it was a counterattack to what he said in the bookstore that day. Kong Ming immediately regretted it. He didn't know what medicine he took that day in the bookstore. He actually forgot about the relationship between Guan Xian and Miracle Dr. Guan. Not only did he leave a bad impression on Guan Xian, but he also couldn't change his words. Most importantly, there was no way he could change his words. He couldn't just say that Miracle Dr. Guan was better than Miracle Dr. Kong. Could he? Wouldn't that be tarnishing his own family's reputation? All right, if there's nothing else, I'll be leaving. Our hospital's facilities are limited. We can't get Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine. You should prepare it yourself, Guan Xian said and left the room. Now she could confirm that Kong Ming Ming was looking for trouble. He purposely sent Wang Shubbing to find her. What he said about no one taking care of him was all bullsh *T. Kong Ming Ming was a little dispirited as he laid on the bed. Why was he so unlucky? He thought that after he settled Xiao Fan, he could easily pursue Guan Xian. But now it seemed that Guan Xian didn't have a good impression of him. Fuck, why am I so unlucky? Kong Ming Ming cursed angrily. Master Ming, I think it's because Guan Xian's already on guard. Wang Shubbing frowned and said carefully, when I went to find her, she sarcastically told me that the wound on your hand had relapsed. Obviously, she didn't believe in such a coincidence. You get sick every day, and this time is a little too close. That's true. Kong Ming Ming nodded. If he thought about it carefully, this illness happened a little too often. It was hard to guarantee that no one would suspect him. As long as it was a normal person, they would find it unbelievable. But Kong Ming Ming couldn't say it out loud. The previous 2 times were caused by himself, but this time it was an accident. But the lesson from the boy who cried wolf was still very deep. Guan Xian didn't believe it anymore. No matter how sick Kong Ming Ming was, it was all an act in Guan Xian's eyes. He couldn't do anything about it. Master Ming, if you can't do it, how about we change tactics? Wang Shubbing hesitated. Change tactics? Change what tactics? Kong Ming Ming was a little angry. Then wouldn't I be injured for nothing? Why don't you try this pain instead? We still need to think about what to change tactics, but the situation right now is that you're injured, and Guan Xian doesn't believe you. Wang Shubbing smiled bitterly. Kong Ming Ming suddenly lost his breath. Yeah, so what if he was suffering for nothing? Guan Xian didn't believe it anymore. She was already suspicious. If they continued, it would be the opposite of what they wanted. It looked like they really had to change tactics. But what tactics should they change? Kong Ming Ming felt that all the methods he used to pick up girls were useless. Before, all he had to do was send flowers, sweet talk, act cool, and bring the girl to the store to spend some money. Then it would be a piece of cake. But Guan Xian didn't fall for it. Sending flowers didn't have any effect. Sweet talk didn't seem to interest Guan Xian. Acting cool didn't even need to be said. Guan Xian's family wasn't bad either. She definitely wouldn't lack his money to buy things for her. Why don't you go online and see if there are any good tactics? Kong Ming Ming heard that there were a lot of people sharing their experiences in picking up girls, but he rarely went online, so he didn't know if there were any. That's fine. I'll go check it out later. Wang Shubbing nodded. See if there are any good tactics, but I feel like you're lacking common topics with Guan Xian. You guys don't have much to talk about together. Chapter 799. Nervous You Family. It's not that she has to be a nurse. Ming bro, we can find out about Guan Xian's hobbies and do what she likes. Wang Shubbing said, being a nurse is just her occupation. I don't believe that she doesn't like to study other things, right? Yeah, Shubbing, you're too smart. Your words are like thunder in my ears. You've enlightened me. Kong Ming Ming said happily, isn't Weibo popular now? Can you see if you can find Guan Xian's Weibo and see if she has any hobbies? All right, leave this matter to me. Wang Shubbing remembered the greedy nurse from yesterday. He would ask her again today and give her some benefits. He didn't believe that he couldn't find out anything. Yanjing City, House U's courtyard. Yu Kuan was lying on a bed with bandages all over his body. A beautiful middle-aged woman was wiping her tears while a man was pacing around the room with a worried face. Your son was beaten up like this. Why aren't you going to take revenge? Why are you pacing around? The beautiful woman was annoyed as she shouted at the man. She sounded like she was about to cry. House Yu is so arrogant. Now that they're being bullied, you've lost your temper? You bide. Do you care about your son or not? Stop arguing. The man called you Bide, waved his hand impatiently. Am I not worried? I don't even know who hurt Yu Kuan. He's been unconscious since he came back. All the meridians in his body were broken. He's a cripple now. I'm more worried than you. But what can we do? We still have to wait for my second brother to decide. The beautiful woman was speechless after being yelled at by Yu Bide. She sat on the bed and wiped her tears. House Yu had been in the martial world for so many years, and they had never been hit like this before. This sudden disaster seemed to be far away from House Yu. All the noble houses in the common world, no one dared to disrespect House Yu, and no one dared to hurt House Yu. But now, not only did he injure Yu Kuan, he even caused permanent damage to him. He destroyed all of Yu Kuan's kung fu, turning him into a cripple. He can no longer practice spiritual techniques. Even if he practiced external techniques, it would be hard for him to achieve anything. Yu Kuan was second only to the head of House Yu's son. They had high hopes for him. But now, he was injured so badly that no one knew if he was dead or alive. At this time, a middle-aged man pushed the door open and walked in. There was a young man next to him. He looked very similar to Yu Kuan, but there was an arrogant look on his face. This middle-aged man was the middle-aged man from House Yu that had appeared at the auction, the current head of House Yu, Yu Bifu. He had the strength of a mystic late-phase peak, just one step away from Earth class. The young man next to him was his son, Yu Feng. He was second only to Yu Bifu in House Yu. He was at the peak of the early phase of mystic class. Second brother, you are here. You have to help my little Kuan. The beautiful woman saw Yu Bifu walk in and quickly stood up. She cried out, Little Kuan's meridians have been destroyed. He is now a cripple. He will never be able to practice again. You have to kill the person who hurt him. That's right, little Kuan. Yu Bifu was shocked when he heard that Yu Kuan was injured. 2 days ago, Yu Kuan called him and said that he was injured. Then, there was no more news. Yu Bifu was shocked. He quickly sent people to Songshan to find Yu Kuan and bring him back to Yanjing. When House Yu found Yu Kuan was already unconscious. When they returned, House Yu's doctor quickly tried to save Yu Kuan, but the result wasn't good. His life was saved, but his martial arts were all gone. His meridians were all broken. He was now a cripple. When Yu Bifu heard the bad news, he rushed over with his son. We don't even know who hurt Yu Kuan. How can you talk about revenge? Yu Bifu frowned. Xiao Kuan already has the strength of a late-phase golden class. In this world, there aren't many people who can harm him. And those who can harm him are all friends of our Yu clan. Who would dare to make a move? This. Yu Bide was curious as well. Who was it that injured Yu Kuan? Logically speaking, those old men in the common world had a good relationship with House Yu. It couldn't have been them. And the hidden families were forbidden from interfering with the affairs of the world. Bide, you don't have to be too sad. Our House Yu is rich in resources. We have martial arts treasures. As long as Yu Kuan can keep his life, there is hope. He can still make a name for himself by practicing martial arts. Yu Bifu said, when the time comes, I will use all the wealth of the family to help him practice. Thank you, second brother. That's the only way. Yu Bide sighed. This was the best outcome since things had come to this. There's something fishy about this. Yu Kuan went to investigate the whereabouts of the map, but he was injured. As far as I know, the strongest physical practitioner in Songshan, Li Fu, is only at the peak of the late phase of golden class. Physical practitioners are one level lower than spiritual practitioners. In other words, he could only fight evenly with Yu Kuan. If he didn't have a deep grudge against Yu Kuan, he wouldn't fight him head-on. Yu Bifu said, I feel that the person who beat Yu Kuan up like this is at least a spiritual practitioner at the peak of the late phase of golden class. Second brother, do you think it could be someone from the hidden Zhao family who did this? Yu Bide suddenly asked. I heard that the illegitimate son of House Zhao Zhao Qibing, has been jumping around in Songshan recently. He's doing demolition and building houses. House Zhao probably saw that a branch of House Yu was making money in the world and couldn't wait. Besides, House Zhao has never been on good terms with House Yu. Could it be that they hurt Yu Kuan? After all, only they have such strength. That's hard to say. It's possible. But I heard that the Fire Wolf Gang is also active in Songshan. Yu Bifu said, Songshan is a small place, yet there are so many forces. It's really complicated. If we don't handle it well, we'll be caught in the middle of the storm. This doesn't benefit House Yu. Whether it's House Zhao or the Fire Wolf Gang, they're not people that our house you can fight against. Chapter 800. Did Big Brother break through? Big Brother just entered Earth class last year. He hasn't gotten a firm foothold there yet. Only when he reaches the middle phase of Earth class will he be able to have a say in the family. Asking him for help will only make things difficult for him. Yu Bifu shook his head. Right, Bide. How's your training going? It's still the same. I've been stuck at the early phase of Mystic class. I placed all my hopes on Kuan, but who would have thought that such a disaster would come? Yu Bide shook his head sadly. It seems that in this generation of our Yu clan, only Big Brother can enter that place. Yu Bifu sighed. I think that in this lifetime, it will be very difficult for me to break through to the Earth grade. Second Brother, according to what you said, little Kuan's matter. Yu Bide paused for a moment and looked at Yu Bifu. Don't worry, Kuan is my nephew. I've already sent people to Songshan to investigate. If there's any news, I'll report back immediately. Yu Bifu said, That's the only way. Yu Bide nodded. Yu Bifu brought Yu Feng out of Yu Bide's room. After walking for a while, Yu Feng said, Father, I've said it before, Yu Kuan can't do it anymore. Let me go. Is this good? He's been crippled, but it's good. In the future, no one in our generation will be able to surpass me. What nonsense are you talking about? He's your cousin. How can it be good? Yu Bifu said angrily. Isn't it better to have more masters in our house? I'm sorry. Yu Feng wasn't convinced. He's too weak. If I had personally gone, he wouldn't have ended up like this. To be able to injure Yu Kuan without killing him means that he's only at the peak of the late phase of Golden Class. I'm already at the peak of the early phase of Mystic Class. With his strength, I can do whatever I want in the common world. You have to know that there's always someone better than you out there. Yu Bifu glared at his son. I know, but those powerful people don't appear in the common world anymore. Yu Feng didn't take his father's words seriously. He was the leader of the younger generation in House Yu. In the outside world, he was also a domineering existence. Even the heads of the other houses didn't have his strength. How could he not be arrogant? He didn't want to interfere with the relocation of the slums, but because of his appearance, Sihua increased the compensation amount. Sihua didn't want to interfere either, but he was afraid that He would cause trouble. Xiaofen's family successfully received the compensation of 180,000 renminbi, which was considered quite high. As for those broken appliances and furniture, they weren't even worth 1,000 renminbi. Xiaofen's mother beamed with joy when she received the money. Adding it all up, she now had a total of 680,000 yuan. It was more than enough to buy a big house. Hence, she started to think about buying a house. Xiaobo, can you talk to Yi and show us the house? Xiaofen's mother whispered to Kong Xiaobo. She had already treated Kong Xiaobo as her son-in-law. I heard that he knows a developer, so he could get a discount. Then I'll ask. Kong Xiaobo knew that this would trouble Yi, but he couldn't just ignore Xiaofen's mother's request, right? And so, Kong Xiaobo found Yi and told him about Xiaofen's mother's request. Yi agreed without hesitation. He had already promised Tang Yun about this. Yi called Tang Yun's mother and Tang Yun. Tang Yun's mother had just gotten her new house, and it was very fresh. She wanted to check on the progress of the renovation today. Hearing that Yi was going, she was happy to tag along. And if Tang Yun's mother went, Yi would be in an awkward situation. It wasn't that Yi hated Tang Yun's mother, but Tang Yun's mother was too powerful, and Yi wasn't used to it. However, Yi understood her. Tang Yun's father had broken his leg, and Tang Yun's mother had been raising a family for so many years. In her heart, money was the most important thing. It was unrealistic to change her, and Lin Yi didn't want to change her. The person Lin Yi liked was Tang Yun, not Tang Yun's mother. Tang Yun's mother liked money, so he gave her some money. To Lin Yi, it was just a drop in the bucket. Mingyao's Audi S5 obviously couldn't accommodate so many people. Lin Yi asked Fatty Lai to send a car to pick up Tang Yun and Tang Yun, but he didn't expect Fatty Lai to personally pick up Tang Yun and Tang Yun. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. This Fatty Lai was too attentive, and it was hard to guarantee that Tang Yun's mother wouldn't see through it. Tang Yun's mother was a little restrained when she saw her boss, Fatty Lai. On the other hand, Kong Xiaobo and Tang Yun had seen Fatty Lai before, and they also saw him crying at Lin Yi's feet, so they didn't have any respect for him. What kind of house do you want? Fatty Lai greeted Kong Xiaobo and Tang Yun passionately, and then asked Tang Yun's mother, I'm just wondering if there's a cheaper one. It's fine if the location isn't good, Xiaofen's mother said cautiously. She originally thought that she would have to use all sorts of methods to get a cheap house, but she didn't expect the person who came to receive her to be so generous. Do you have one? Fatty Lai turned his head and looked at Lin Yi. Lin Yi was so angry that he almost kicked Fatty Lai. Do you have one? Why are you looking at me? Can I have this one? Lin Yi didn't say it clearly before, so Fatty Lai wasn't sure if Lin Yi wanted to help Tang Yun's mother. From Fatty Lai's point of view, a house was small, but it would be bad if Lin Yi was unhappy. Fatty Lai knew that Lin Yi wasn't a person who liked to help others, so when he cried and begged Lin Yi didn't help him at all. If he didn't have perseverance, how could he become Lin Yi's follower? So, Fatty Lai had to ask for Lin Yi's opinion on the house for Tang Yun's mother. Tang Yun's mother was stunned by Fatty Lai. Mr. Lai, do you have one or not? I think so. Tang Yun couldn't help but cover her mouth and laugh at Fatty Lai's angry face. Yes, of course I do. Fatty Lai saw that Tang Yun said there was one, so he must have one. He laughed. I'm just wondering if there's one or not. I have too many things to do today, so I can't remember clearly. That's great. Tang Yun's mother was very happy when she heard that there was a special price house. She quickly asked, Where is it? Can you bring me there? Sure, let's go. We'll go now. Fatty Lai nodded. Chapter 801. Tang Yun, annoyed, Little Lai. Do you think there's a special sale in the building I bought? Mrs. Tang asked. Annie Wong, the building you bought. Fatty Lai thought. That building was newly opened, and other than the one I sold to your family, I haven't sold anything else yet. How could there be any special sale? But since Mrs. Tang asked, Fatty Lai replied, I think there is. Shall we go take a look later? Then let's buy that building. It's close to my house, and Een and Fen are close. They can see each other often if they are together. Mrs. Tang said. Fatty Lai brought Xiaofen's mother, Lin Yi, and the others to the building that Mrs. Tang had bought. The lighting was great, and it was one of the best buildings in the entire district. How could there be a bad location? But since Mrs. Tang had spoken, Fatty Lai found a small apartment on the top floor and brought Fen's mother and Lin Yi up. It was a small apartment with 2 bedrooms and a living room. Although the living room was a little small, only 40 square meters, the layout was good, and the lighting was good. Fen's mother fell in love with it at first glance. She asked Fatty Lai, Mr. Lai, how much is this apartment? This type of apartment, the original price was $380,000, but it's on the top floor, and it's in Cold Mountain, so it's cheaper. It's only $300,000 now, Fatty Lai said. Only $300,000? Fen's mother was shocked. She had to pay $180,000 for her old 30 square meter house. And now, this new 40 square meter house only cost $300,000? Wasn't it too cheap? As for the top floor in Cold Mountain, it wasn't a problem for Fen's mother. She used to live on the top floor and in the side suite, and the heating wasn't very good, so she lived there. This kind of house with collective heating was much better than her old house, and the quality was pretty good too. So Fen's mother fell in love with it immediately. Yeah, only $300,000, Fatty Lai nodded. This kind of top floor is usually sold at a discount. That's great. We'll take this one then. Xiaofen's mother nodded and made the decision. Right now, Xiaofun's mother had $680,000 in her hands. This house only cost $300,000. After buying the house, she would still have $380,000 left, which was enough to buy furniture and appliances. Fatty Lai called the sales manager to sign the contract with Xiaofun's mother and paid the money. The house was now under her name. Xiaofun's mother didn't expect to buy a house so smoothly. She was extremely grateful to Tang Yun's mother and Lin Yi. If it wasn't for them, she wouldn't have been able to find such a cheap house. Tang Yun knew that Fatty Lai was willing to sell Xiaofun's mother a house at such a low price because of Lin Yi. How could this house not be sold at the end of the auction? Whether it was the layout or the lighting, they were all quite good. Buying it for only 300,000 yuan was simply too cheap. Xiaofun looked at Lin Yi gratefully. Her mother didn't understand, but how could she not? Xiaofun knew that Fatty Lai begged Lin Yi to treat his father's illness. Fatty Lai was probably grateful for Lin Yi's kindness, which was why he sold her a house at such a low price. "Boss, thank you," Kong Xiaobo whispered to Lin Yi. "I'm really honored today." "Heh." Lin Yi smiled. "You and Fatty Lai call me boss, so you guys should help each other." Lin Yi's words touched Kong Xiaobo instantly. It was rare for a boss to do what Lin Yi did. Kong Xiaobo didn't feel that he had done anything. He only contributed because of Lin Yi's passion when he first came here. When Zhong Pingliang was looking for trouble with Lin Yi, he impulsively stood up with Lin Yi. As a result, he gained Lin Yi's recognition and friendship. After Xiaofun's house was settled, Mrs. Tang couldn't wait to see her own house. She heard from Fatty Lai that the renovation had started yesterday. Xiaofun's mother also wanted to follow Mrs. Tang to see how Tang Yun's house was renovated. Tang Yun's house was spacious and bright. It was 3 times bigger than Xiaofun's house. However, Xiaofun's mother wasn't envious. It was already a surprise that her family could afford such a house. What was the use of being envious? However, Xiaofun's mother was still looking forward to Mrs. Tang winning the special prize. She couldn't help but ask Fatty Lai, "Mr. Lai, can I still participate in the lucky draw? Mine is a special prize house." Xiaofun's mother was afraid that she wouldn't have the chance to win the lucky draw. She asked anxiously, "Yeah, when you get to the sales office, you could do it once or twice," Fatty Lai said with a smile. Mrs. Tang looked at Xiaofun's mother, who was looking forward to it, and sighed. She knew clearly how she won the special prize. With Xiaofun's mother's luck, how could she win? Mrs. Tang thought about her luck and couldn't help but sympathize with Xiaofun's mother. She looked at Lin Yi and her daughter, and then at the smiling Fatty Lai. She couldn't help but ask, "Little Lai, can we give the leftover materials to Xiaofun's family?" Mrs. Tang also wanted Xiaofun's family to save some money. If she had more materials, she could give it to Xiaofun's family to ease her family's urgent need. This. Fatty Lai couldn't help but look at Lin Yi again. How could there be leftover materials for the renovation? The materials were prepared according to the size of the house, so there wouldn't be any leftovers. Lin Yi tilted his head and couldn't help but find it funny. If you have more, then so be it. If not, then so be it. Why are you always looking at me? What do you want me to say? Fatty Lai saw that Lin Yi didn't object and said, "Okay, I'll talk to the person in charge later. If there are leftover materials, we'll install it together with Xiaofun's family. We don't even need the labor fee. I think there are quite a lot of materials here. It's more than enough to renovate 2 houses. That house is small, so we'll install it together." How can I do that? Xiaofun's mother didn't expect that Mrs. Tang's words would save her a lot of money. She didn't even need to renovate. Wasn't this Mr. Lai too easy to talk to? "Okay, since Little Lai said so, you don't have to reject it." Tang Yun's mother felt that she had a lot of faith. She could get Xiaofun's family's renovation fee with just 1 sentence. Chapter 802. Tang Yun's uneasiness. Tang Yun felt useless. Not only was she unable to help Lin Yi, but she also had a greedy and prideful mother. But she was her mother, and she couldn't scold her in front of so many people. Tang Yun was in a difficult position. She looked at her proud mother and stomped her feet anxiously. He was already troubling Lin Yi for his own family. So why did he have to trouble Lin Yi for someone else? Tang Yin didn't know what to do, but she felt someone holding her hand. The familiar and warm grip made her feel at ease. She raised her head and saw Lin Yi smiling at her. A dash, Tang Yin jumped. When did you come here? Lin Yi was with her mother and Xiao Fun's family to look at the renovations. She didn't go in, and her mind wasn't on the renovations anymore. She was thinking about what her mother did, so she didn't notice Lin Yi coming over. What are you thinking about? Lin Yi noticed that Tang Yun's expression was a little unnatural, as if she was troubled and embarrassed. Nothing. Tang Yun couldn't tell Lin Yi what she was thinking. I helped Xiao Fun's family because of Kong Xiaobo. Xiao Fun isn't only your friend, but also Xiaobo's girlfriend. Lin Yi could guess what Tang Yun was thinking. Buying a special prize house for Xiao Fun's family was already a loss for Fatty Lai, and now she wanted Fatty Lai to renovate Xiao Fun's house as well. But it was nothing to Lin Yi, and Fatty Lai wouldn't care about such a small amount of money. Thank you. Tang Yin felt much better after hearing Lin Yi's words. She looked at Lin Yi with a gentle gaze. She thought about her and Lin Yi's relationship. It was rough, but it was smooth. Tang Yin had to tread on thin ice. From a misunderstanding she had towards Lin Yi to the deep feeling she had for him, Tang Yin didn't want to lose this feeling easily, so she was extra careful. Actually, you don't have to worry too much about it. Your mother has suffered a lot. Lin Yi saw through people very well. Uncle Tang broke his leg and is bedridden. Annie Wong is supporting the family by herself. She can only bury her grievances in her heart. She can't talk to you and Uncle Tang. She has been silently supporting herself for so many years. Now that she finally has a chance to show off, a chance to be proud of herself, she naturally won't let it go. Tang didn't know whether to laugh or to be angry. She glared at Lin Yi. Don't make it sound so bad. My mom's a little snobbish, but she's still a good person. I know. So didn't I cooperate with her? Lin Yi shrugged. I'll talk to her about it when I get home. I don't want to make things difficult for you. Tang Yun and Lin Yi were able to talk about it. It seemed like Lin Yi didn't really care about it. It's not that difficult. Lin Yi shook his head. But I'm afraid that your mom will meet a big boss who's richer than me. What if she sells you to him? How would that happen? Tang Yun shook her head. Unless she kills me. Huh? Lin Yi held Tang Yun's hand tightly. Let's go. This is your home. You should at least give some suggestions, right? Okay. Tang Yun's heart knot was untied. Her mood improved. She followed Lin Yi around the new house. This house was really big. Tang Yun never thought that one day her family would be able to afford such a big house. She didn't want to leave after walking in. At night, Tang Yun decided to have a good talk with her mother in the hospital. Mom, how could you let Fatty Lai, CEO Lai, renovate Xiaofan's house today? Tang Yun pouted. Don't you know that renovation materials are very expensive? How could he buy extra? Besides, even if he bought extra, he would decorate it for other people who won the special prize. How could he have extra? Look at you. Xiaofan's family is in such a difficult situation. Xiaofan is your good friend. You should help if you can, Mrs. Tang said disapprovingly. But you're troubling him. Wouldn't Lin Yi owe him a favor? Tang Yin was pissed off by her mother's words. Good friends were good friends. She would help him as much as she could. But if it was beyond her ability, she would be putting on a strong front. Oh, what favor? Mrs. Tang glared at her daughter. Don't think that I can't tell. That Xiaofan is one of Lin Yi's lackeys. Tang Yin didn't expect her mother to see through this. She was surprised. Am I right? Mrs. Tang couldn't help but feel proud. Look, no matter what I ask him, he would look at Lin Yi as if asking for instructions. He's so respectful. He even treats you the same way. Do you think I don't know? What did you call him just now? Fatty Lai, right? You're even lying to your own mother now. You're very familiar with him, right? You're putting on a show for me, aren't you? Mom, Tang Yun's face reddened. She wasn't good at lying. She felt ashamed when her mother saw through her. Look at that Xiaofan's attitude. He even called me Annie. He's the CEO of a company. How could he be so respectful to a housewife like me? We're asking him to do something, not the other way around. Do you think I'm blind and can't see it? Also, that special prize I won, special prize my ass. It was an electric kettle, but he said I won the special prize. Mrs. Tang continued. Do you think I don't know? Xiaofan is trying to get on Lin Yi's good side. You child, you don't know how to use this relationship. Why don't you just ask him to give us a house for free? I. Tang Yun was infuriated by her mother's words. She was talking about her mother, but now she was being used against her. Tang Yun was speechless. She couldn't help but panic. Isn't that just troubling Lin Yi? Even if he's his follower, isn't he still Lin Yi's? Isn't what Lin Yi has yours? Why are you so dumb? You're his girlfriend, so you're Xiaofan's sister-in-law. Mrs. Tang said matter-of-factly. How is that the same? You've been doing all this. I owe Linny more and more. I feel like I can't even lift my head in front of him. Tang Yin raised her head, agitated. She looked at her mother stubbornly. Do you know that there are a lot of girls who like Linny? I'm not helping him at all. I'm troubling him every day. How am I going to compete with others? Chapter 803. Chapter 803. Orphanage. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Tang Yin cried from anger. She didn't understand her mother's reasoning. Although Lin Yi was right, her mother had suffered too much in the past, and now that there was a chance, her pride would be inflated, but Tang Yin still couldn't accept it. Although Lin Yi didn't say anything, Tang Yin felt that it was too much with her personality. Mrs. Tang shook her head and looked at her daughter. Right, you haven't told me yet. What's the relationship between Lin Yi and the two girls yesterday? They're my love rivals. They're richer than me, and they're going to push me away. Are you satisfied now? Tang Yin said hatefully. She stood up and ran to the washroom, crying her heart out. Love rivals? Mrs. Tang paused. It doesn't look like it. The amount that Qibing Real Estate paid out today was almost double of what they had expected. Although Qibing Real Estate could still earn money if they paid out at this price, they had invested too much into the Qibing skyscrapers. The profits from the development of the slums weren't enough to cover the losses from the two skyscrapers. From the current situation, it would be good if they could maintain a profit of 30 to 50 million. It was impossible for them to make more than that. They had budgeted for a skyscraper, but with the addition of Lin Yi, this dream was shattered. Zhao Qibing was sitting in the RV. He was furious when he heard the news. Both his legs were broken, so he didn't appear at the demolition site. Instead, he sat in the RV on the roadside and watched everything from a distance. I haven't even started my business yet, and I've already lost 200 million. If I can't even get a project back, how will House Zhao look at me? Zhao Qibing glared at Sihua. He had entered a half-crazed state. His ambition of building a business was completely shattered. It was good enough as long as he didn't lose money. Master Bing, Lin Yi is an unstable factor. We didn't think of him before. Who knew that someone like him would appear in Songshan? Sihua sighed as well. The days he'd had in Songshan were no more. He was nothing but a fart in front of Lin Yi, and Lin Yi didn't even put him in his eyes. Lin Yi, just you wait, I won't let you go. Qibing clenched his fists tightly. Master Bing, can you talk to the boss and ask him to send out a master to kill Lin Yi? Sihua suggested after some hesitation. Lin Yi's appearance made Sihua feel like he had to act cautiously. It was a very uncomfortable feeling. I'll ask. Zhao Qibing vaguely knew about the rules between the hidden houses. Earth-class masters weren't allowed to appear in the world at will, and if a hidden house broke this rule, they would become the enemy of the other hidden houses. Zhao Qibing didn't know if this rule was real or fake, but no hidden house had broken this rule yet. It was a fact that no Earth-class masters had appeared in the world. But my father is quite dissatisfied with me now. The most important thing now is to build up the company. If there are results, then everything will be fine. Zhao Qibing was too embarrassed to ask his father for help. He hadn't done anything yet, so how could he ask his father to send a master to help him? With Lin Yi interfering with the slums, we can't make too much profit. We can't skimp on materials when we're building, can we? This is related to our reputation. If someone exposed us, we won't be able to sell our house. Sihua knew that if he wanted to make a long-term business, He couldn't make a fuss about the quality of the building. Have you contacted the orphanage? I think it's a good piece of land. It's big, and the location is better than the slums. It's good to demolish it and build a high-class villa area. Zhao Qibing asked. Not yet. Didn't they just decide on this 2 days ago? I'm going to contact them later. Sihua replied. It's just a private orphanage. Let's just say some harsh words. I don't believe they'll dare to resist. Zhao Qibing said, How about this? We'll go and negotiate with them later. Okay, let Zhong Fabai's men follow as well. We'll intimidate them a little. Sihua nodded. The matter was settled. A little later, Zhao Qibing, Li Sihua, and Zhong Fabai brought a group of men in black. Other than the two who were crippled by Lin Yi who were sent to the hospital, the group arrived at the private orphanage in the slums. A Mercedes-Benz RV, a Mercedes-Benz sedan, and 2 Jinbei vans suddenly appeared in the courtyard of the orphanage. This kind of lineup had never been seen before, and it scared the children playing in the yard. Sihua pushed Zhao Qibing out of the RV, and Fabai and the other men in black stood beside Sihua and Zhao Qibing, looking like bodyguards. Call the person in charge here. Zhong Fabai yelled at the children fiercely. Who are you? What do you do? Xiao Qian heard the noise in the yard and ran out of the red brick house of the orphanage. He was also shocked when he saw the scene. Do you have anyone who can talk to you? Fabai didn't put kin in his eyes. He wouldn't talk to a child. The dean was talking to Xiaoka in her room when she heard the commotion in the yard. She quickly came out with Xiaoka to the yard, only to see Sihua, Zhao Qibing, and the others, as well as a group of men in black. She was shocked. I'm the dean of this place. What brings you here? The dean said as he looked at Sihua coldly. The man looked familiar. With that, the dean turned to Ken. Ken, take the children back first. There's nothing for you to do here. Yes, Dean. Ken didn't dare disobey. He quickly left with the other children. He knew that this wasn't something kids could interfere with. Let me introduce myself. I'm Sihua, and this is Master Zhao Qibing, the chairman of Qibing Real Estate. Sihua introduced himself before introducing Zhao Qibing. Sihua, so it's the famous Sihua of Songshan City. The old director finally recognized who the visitor was. However, I wonder what Boss Lee is doing here in my small orphanage. Chapter 804. Overbearing Master Bing. Oh, so it's a developer who wants to buy our land. The dean nodded, understanding Sihua's intentions. Our condition is simple. We don't want money. Just build a well-equipped orphanage somewhere else, and we'll give it to you. Xiaoka stated her condition straightforwardly. This was what she had agreed on with the dean before. You're right. You're the orphanage you're looking for. There had been developers who'd come to the orphanage to discuss the relocation, but Xiaoka's reconstruction plan was too complicated, and there wasn't much profit to be made. Qibing noticed Xiaoka as well. His perverted eyes scanned Xiaoka's body back and forth. So pretty. This girl looked pretty good. Was she from the orphanage as well? Qibing's heart itched. He hadn't touched a woman for a long time after his leg was broken, and he couldn't help but salivate at the sight of a beauty like Xiaoka. Sure, but I think you're pretty good. Come be my secretary, and I'll agree to whatever you want. Qibing said as he looked at Xiaoka lustfully. He was only making a casual promise, and once he got his hands on Xiaoka, he wouldn't care about the conditions anymore. I'm sorry, but I can't leave the orphanage. You should find someone else. Xiaoka looked at Qibing with disgust as she rejected his suggestion. Don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. Fabai didn't think that the people from the orphanage would be so stubborn. I'll talk to you nicely now, but since you don't want to talk nicely, we'll see. What? You're threatening my old woman. The dean smiled coldly as she looked at Sihua. Sihua, you're a famous figure in the underworld of Songshan, but I'm not afraid of you. You're not the only boss who's been eyeing my orphanage these years. Do you know why they gave up? Sihua paused as he looked at the dean, puzzled. Was there more to this than met the eye? Could there be some other power behind this orphanage? Zhou Tianyi has a man called Uncle Yin, a golden class master. The dean said faintly. Zhou Tianyi had thoughts about the orphanage as well, but he gave up after weighing the pros and cons. You know about golden class? Sihua looked at the dean in disbelief. Golden class strength wasn't much of a secret to someone like Sihua. After all, he had 2 golden class masters under him, but they were killed by that madman Lin Yi. I'm not talented, but I'm also golden class. The dean's aura exploded in an instant, and Sihua, Fabai, and Zhao Qibing all felt a suffocating pressure coming from him. Although they weren't cultivators and couldn't accurately distinguish the level and strength of their opponents, Amos' aura was indeed similar to that of a cultivator. Sihua didn't doubt the dean's words this time. He didn't expect a golden class master to be hiding in a small orphanage like this. No wonder the orphanage hadn't been demolished after all these years. It turned out that they had some scruples. Golden class. Qibing laughed coldly. My father is an Earth class early phase, and my grandfather is an Earth class late phase peak. What's a golden class to them? Qibing wasn't wrong. His father, Guangyin, was an Earth class early phase, and Elder Zhao, on the other hand, was an Earth class late phase peak. He was currently looking for an opportunity to break through the Earth class and step into the Sky class. But to break through from Earth class to Sky class was a huge chasm, and many people couldn't achieve it in their entire lives. But even if it wasn't Sky class, an Earth class was scary enough. Qibing was in a rush to take down this orphanage, and he couldn't be intimidated by some golden class. He had to use his father and grandfather's strength to intimidate them. There was no other way. Otherwise, with his identity as an illegitimate son, it would be a huge taboo to reveal his background. If House Zhao found out, they'd definitely have a problem with him. If Uncle Zhu wasn't injured, and Zhonglong and Li Yao weren't dead, Qibing wouldn't reveal his background like this. But now that all his masters were gone, and he didn't even bring Yao Wang with him, he couldn't just leave like that, could he? The dean thought that her strength would be enough to intimidate them. But she didn't expect that the young man with a broken leg beside Sihua would say that his father was an Earth class early phase, and his grandfather was an Earth class late phase peak. This shocked the dean. She didn't think much of Qibing before, and only paid attention to Sihua. But now, it seemed that if this young man wasn't bragging, then it must be true. May I ask your father's name? The dean asked after a moment of silence. My surname is Zhao. My name is Zhao Qibing. Qibing didn't say his father's name casually. He wasn't stupid. He knew that he was an illegitimate son, and some things were better left unsaid. He knew that if the dean was a practitioner of the world, she would know the meaning of his surname and would be able to guess it. Zhao. The dean's face changed instantly, and she looked at Qibing in disbelief. You're the hidden house Zhao. Humph. Some things you shouldn't know too much. Qibing laughed coldly. I'll give you 2 options now. Qibing Real Estate has another piece of land in the suburbs, and it's twice the size of yours. If you agree, we'll exchange it with you at the same price. Also, we'll compensate you according to the current price of the land, and after you get the money, you'll have to find your own way. You. The dean was speechless from Qibing's overbearing words, but she didn't dare to act recklessly. Naturally, she was a practitioner of the world, and naturally, she knew the strength of the hidden house Zhao. It was a power that even the 4 big and 5 small noble houses didn't dare to mess with. Of course, what the dean didn't know was that although Qibing's words were scary, he was only the illegitimate son of the head of House Zhao, Zhao Guangyin. Even Elder Zhao didn't really approve of him. That's all I've said. Think about it yourself. Qibing laughed coldly. Remember my words. Don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. Otherwise, you'll have to bear the consequences. Chapter 805. Chapter 805. House Yu's visit Xiaoka. Don't say anything. The dean knew the importance of House Zhao, and he jumped in fright when Xiaoka opened her mouth. He quickly stopped her. Girl, you're quite feisty, but I like it. Qibing looked at Xiaoka once more, the threatening look turning into a perverted one. My conditions are still valid. You can come find me when you've thought it through. Who the hell would come find you? Xiaoka glared at Qibing, not understanding why the dean was so afraid of this wheelchair-bound cripple. I hope you don't regret it, haha. Qibing laughed coldly. He was drooling over Xiaoka's beauty, but he wasn't in a rush. His leg wasn't healed yet, and it wasn't convenient for him to play with women. It wouldn't be too late to wait. Xiaoka. The dean was afraid that Xiaoka would say something else and anger Qibing. She could tell that this guy didn't know any kung fu and was a complete idiot, but the mountain of power behind him was suffocating. Xiaoka opened her mouth, feeling wronged. Wasn't he just good at bragging? Your father was an Earth class early phase, your grandfather was an Earth class late phase peak, and your whole family was full of masters. Why were you a piece of trash? Who knows which good person will break your legs for you? Let's go. Qibing looked at the dean in disdain before waving his hand at Sihua. Sihua pushed Qibing into the RV, and Fabai and the men got into the van as well. The 4 cars sped away from the orphanage. These men weren't of much use at all. In front of a golden class master, these men were useless. Qibing had wanted to use these men to scare the orphanage, but after seeing that the dean was a golden class master, he decided to change his strategy. Master Bing, will there be a problem if you reveal your identity as the boss? Sihua asked worriedly after getting into the car. Problem? What problem would there be? What did I say? I didn't say anything at all. Zhao Qibing shook his head. What I said was the truth. My surname is Zhao. My father is an Earth class early phase master, and my grandfather is an Earth class late phase peak master. But I didn't say that I'm from the hidden house Zhao. She guessed it herself. That's true. If that's the case, the boss probably won't say anything. Sihua realized that Qibing had never mentioned that he was from House Zhao, nor did he mention the names of his father and grandfather. It was just a vague hint, and the rest was just the headmaster of the orphanage's own guess. Sometimes you have to learn to borrow strength to fight back. Qibing said, give them a few days to think about it, and then bring some men to scare them. I don't believe they won't give in. Oh, you want to bring someone along? What's the point? Sihua paused. Of course it's useful to bring the king pharmacist along. Qibing said, Yao Wang's practice isn't good at attacking, but he's still a mystic. I don't believe that he can't scare that old woman. It was only then that Sihua remembered that there was a mystic class master in the house. No wonder Master Bing was so arrogant. He didn't even need to ask for help from his boss. He could easily take care of the orphanage. He nodded, I understand. The 4 cars drove back to the floating cloud bar. It was only 4 in the afternoon, and the bar wasn't officially open yet. But there was a black Buick MPV with Yinjing license plate parked in front of the bar. Sihua frowned. The MPV was parked in front of the bar, and this was the bar's private parking lot. People who weren't customers weren't allowed to park their cars here. Sihua pushed Master Bing out of the car, and the MPV's door opened as well, and a young man walked out of it. Sihua froze when he saw the young man. He knew this man. It was Yu Haitian, the person in charge of House Yu's business. He was from Yinjing's House Yu. Yu Haitian, on the other hand, saw Qibing in the wheelchair and froze. How did Qibing become disabled? Master Bing, what are you doing? Yu Haitian walked over surprised. He was from House Yu, but he knew Master Bing's identity. He treated him with respect. Isn't this Tian bro? Master Bing also knew Yu Haitian's identity. He was a descendant of the hidden House Yu in the mortal world, and he was the illegitimate son of House Zhao. It could be said that their identities were equal, and no one could beat the other. The woman from House Yu married into House Zhao, and she was the legal wife of Zhao Guanyin, Qibing's father. However, this kind of marriage was only a marriage of benefits. The relationship between House Yu and House Zhao wasn't very harmonious. This was because House Zhao was envious of House Yu's business in the common world, and they wanted to make a name for themselves in the common world. However, because of the agreement, they couldn't make a move. The reason why House Yu ended up in this situation was because of a combination of factors. The hidden House Yu was a branch of the House Yu that had been kicked out of the common world. In reality, they had nothing to do with the common world's House Yu. But as the hidden House Yu grew stronger, the common world's House Yu naturally attached themselves to them, willingly becoming a money-making tool for the House Yu. The branch became the main branch, and the main branch became the branch. It sounded funny, but it was the truth. It couldn't be replicated, and the other noble houses couldn't do it, even if they wanted to. So now, House Yu became the leader of the 4 big and 5 small houses. The hidden houses wanted to interfere with the common world's business, but they couldn't do it because of the agreement. There was a historical reason why House Yu was like this. House Yu claimed to the public that this common House Yu had nothing to do with them, but whether they had anything to do with it or not, everyone knew very well. It was just that it had become a fact, and they couldn't do anything about it. House Zhao also wanted to create a puppet to work with House Yu, but because they wanted to create a new common world noble house, and it didn't match House Yu's current interests, they were rejected. So the relationship between House Zhao and House Yu became tense. However, on the surface, the relationship between the 2 houses was still good. So when Yu Haitian came to Songshan, the first person he visited was naturally the illegitimate son of House Zhao, Zhao Qibing. He was different from Yu Kuan, who came here in secret. He came with a legitimate reason, so he had to show his face. Chapter 806. Chapter 806. Master Bing's complaints Qibing didn't hide it from Haitian, since it wasn't a secret in the upper-class society that Lin Yi had broken his leg. All the noble houses had seen it, and Haitian would know the truth if he asked around. There was no need for him to lie. It'd be even more awkward if he was exposed. Oh, there's a madman who dares touch Master Bing? Where did he come from? Is he tired of living? Even a noble house wouldn't dare do something like this, would they? Haitian asked, surprised. Let's talk inside. This isn't a good place to talk. Qibing made an inviting gesture to Haitian. Although there were some conflicts between the upper echelons of House Yu and House Zhao, it didn't affect Haitian and Qibing's personal relationship. Both of them belonged to the outer circle of the 2 noble houses, and with their connections, they could enrich their own strength. Sihua knew who Haitian was, and he didn't dare walk side by side with him. He pushed Master Bing from the back, letting them walk side by side into the bar. Qibing invited Haitian to sit on the sofa, and Qibing sat in his wheelchair. Tian bro, I'm sorry, but I can't get up to greet you. What do you say, Master Bing? We're brothers. There's no need for so much etiquette. Haitian smiled. How did you break your leg? Can you tell me? I'm new here, and I don't know much about the situation in Songshan. Don't mention it. It'll just make me cry. Qibing sighed. You know who I am, bro. I'm the illegitimate son of House Zhao. It's a bit awkward, so I want to do something for House Zhao so that I can have a place in the Zhao family. I understand. Haitian nodded. He understood Qibing's awkwardness. He was the son of House Zhao's current head, Zhao Guanyin, but he was an illegitimate son, and his identity was quite sensitive. That's why I came to Songshan, Sihua's turf, to develop real estate. Qibing said, but I didn't think that a guy called Lin Yi would appear out of nowhere, and he'd be involved in everything. All I did was tear down his girlfriend's house and ruin her face, and he broke my legs. Lin Yi? Haitian paused. The name was familiar. Wasn't it one of the suspects that the head of the house, second Uncle Shuaixing, had asked him to investigate? The name of House Yu's head, Shuaixing, was written incorrectly. It was written as Yu Bi Fu. I hereby correct it. But Yu Haitian found it strange as well. Lin Yi dared to hit Zhao Qibing? Didn't Zhao Qibing have any masters by his side? Even if he was an illegitimate child, the Zhao family couldn't possibly ignore him, right? So he asked curiously, when he hit you, was there no one around to protect you? Uncle Zhu was there too. Zhao Qibing sighed. He's a mystic class master. He's still lying on the bed after exchanging a palm strike with Lin Yi. You can go see him later. You know Uncle Zhu too. See, Haitian couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air after hearing Qibing's words. Uncle Zhu, of course, he knew this person. He used to be very famous in the martial arts world, but he joined House Zhao's side. Although his strength didn't increase much over the years, he was at the early phase of mystic class. Now that he was heavily injured after exchanging a palm strike with Lin Yi, he was still lying on the bed. Just how strong was Lin Yi? But Uncle Zhu was already lying on the bed, so how good could Lin Yi be? Haitian was surprised that Lin Yi had the strength to exchange a palm strike with Uncle Zhu, But he didn't think that Lin Yi was that strong. If he was strong, he would have killed Uncle Zhu instead of lying on the bed. "How's Linny now?" Haitian asked after the shock. "He's alive and kicking, as if nothing happened," Zhao Qibing said with hatred. "Ah, no way. Uncle Zhu is lying on the bed. How could Linny be fine? Does that mean that Lin Yi's strength is unfathomable?" Haitian asked in shock after hearing the news. "It's not that unfathomable, but according to Uncle Zhu, Lin Yi is at most at the early phase of mystic class. As for why Lin Yi is alive and kicking now, it's because Lin Yi is a medical master himself." Zhao Qibing didn't hide anything and told him the truth. Zhao Qibing wasn't an idiot. Although the recent series of events made him a little muddle-headed and impulsive, he was still a smart person. In front of Haitian, he had regained his usual calmness. As far as Zhao Qibing was concerned, Haitian was doing well in Yanjing. There was no way he would come to Songshan for a vacation. He must have a reason for coming here. Haitian, on the other hand, was paying close attention to Lin Yi. Could it be that he was here for Lin Yi as well? If House you want to deal with Lin Yi, it would reduce the pressure on Zhao Qibing. Besides, House was the #1 noble house in the common world. They had a lot of masters. It wasn't something that a bastard son like him could compete with. He's a mystic class master. Which faction did this person belong to? How come I've never heard of a mystic class master like this? Haitian was shocked by Lin Yi's identity. Lin Yi seemed to have appeared out of nowhere. Otherwise, House Yu had records of all the masters in the common world, and House Yu had collected information on almost all the masters in the common world, but they'd never heard of someone like Lin Yi. "I'm not sure." Zhao Qibing shook his head. "There's nothing I can do to him now. Uncle Zhu is still recovering, and you know that Earth-class masters can't just casually appear in the world. Your little brother's life is tough right now." Haitian had a plan in his mind. After he heard that Lin Yi was a mystic-class master, he was sure that Yu Kuan was injured by Lin Yi. Because Lin Yi was one of the people Yu Kuan was looking for, it was reasonable for Lin Yi to injure Yu Kuan. But what shocked Haitian the most was Lin Yi's strength. A mystic class master? Or even higher? Haitian didn't think that Lin Yi was just a medical master. House Zhao didn't lack medical masters. Wasn't Uncle Zhu still lying on the bed? The fact that Lin Yi was able to appear in Songshan as if nothing had happened meant that he had the strength to back it up. "What do you want to do, Master Bing? You wouldn't let Lin Yi go so easily, would you?" Haitian asked calmly. "So what if I don't let him go? I don't want to let him go, but he won't let me go." Zhao Qibing rolled his eyes and smiled bitterly. "He extorted 300,000 from me today. Those two were Tsihua's men, one golden class early phase and the other golden class late phase." Zhao Qibing smiled bitterly. "Tsihua sent them to kill Lin Yi, but they disappeared. They were found dead at the bottom of the cliff." "Oh, that's serious?" Yu Haitian was surprised. "Does House Zhao plan to let this go?" "Tian bro, you know that my identity is very awkward. Although my father is the young master of House Zhao, there's still an old man above him. If the old man doesn't say anything, my father won't be able to send an Earth-class master to deal with Lin." Zhao Qibing smiled bitterly. "My family's mystic-class late-phase masters have all gone into isolation under the old man's request to find an opportunity to break through to Earth-class, so I really don't know how to deal with Lin. Is that so?" Yu Haitian didn't say it out loud, but he was frowning in his heart. He didn't believe that House Zhao would just let it go like this. This wasn't a small matter. A hidden house had 2 golden class masters killed by a nameless kid, injured a mystic class master, and even broke the legs of their bastard son. Wouldn't that be the biggest joke in the world if this got out? How could House Zhao not care? There had to be something behind this. Maybe Zhao Qibing didn't know, and Zhao Guangyin didn't tell him. Maybe Zhao Qibing knew, and he didn't tell him the truth. But no matter what, Yu Haitian was on high alert. He decided that he had to be careful when he reported this to his second uncle. "Now, I don't ask for anything else. I just hope that this god Lin, it doesn't bother me, and let me earn some money. If Tion Bro can deal with Lin, I'll definitely help you. If you need anything, just say the word, and I'll definitely help. Zhao Qibing hoped that Houseu could step in and get rid of Lin Yi. He didn't have a choice, but Houseu was very strong. Even in the common world, they had a mystic class late phase master. Getting rid of Lin Yi shouldn't be a problem. This Lin Yi, what's his background? Which side does he belong to? Yu Haitian asked calmly. I'm not too sure about that. Zhao Qibing shook his head. My father did some research and asked the other hidden houses, but they didn't seem to know anything about Lin Yi's background. Now that I look at it, this Lin Yi is Pengzhan Industries, Pengzhan's daughter Mengyao's follower. He lives with Mengyao and Yushu every day. Is he hired by Pengzhan? Hired? A mystic class master working as a follower for a normal businessman's daughter? Why does this sound so ridiculous? Yu Haitian felt that this mystic class master was too worthless. That's the truth. Everyone in Songshan knows about this. Zhao Qibing said. In the beginning, I asked Siwa to deal with Pengzhan Industries. I won't hide it from you. I was interested in Pengzhan Industries' wealth and want to take it for myself. The few times I tried to deal with Meng Yao, it was all because of this Lin Yi, causing my plan to fail. No one would believe that Lin Yi wasn't Meng Yao's follower. Otherwise, why would he stick his nose into other people's business? That's strange. Yu Haitian frowned as well. This Lin Yi's background is a bit strange. According to what you said, Lin Yi's background isn't that powerful. If Pengzhan could hire him, how powerful could this mystic class master be? But how could a normal person become a mystic class master? Chapter 808. Chapter 808. Houseu's decision. All right, I'll report this to the head as well. Yu Haitian nodded. It seems like we'll have to think long and hard about how to deal with Lin. Let's have dinner together. Qibing and Haitian were done talking business, so he invited Lin Yi. As far as he was concerned, Haitian now had a common enemy with him. Their relationship could take another step forward. No, I still need to investigate Pengzhan Industries and Lin Yi's situation. I'll report to the head and come up with a plan to deal with Lin Yi as soon as possible. Haitian said, That's fine, next time then. When my leg recovers, we'll go out and have some fun. Qibing didn't ask him to stay. He knew that Haitian had something urgent to do. After leaving the floating cloud bar, Yu Haitian didn't dare to waste a second and sent the information he had gathered to Houseu in Yanjing. Shueixing, Yu Bide, and Yu Feng were all sitting outside Yu Kuen's room. This time, the beautiful middle-aged woman, Yu Kuen's mother, wasn't there. This was a family meeting of Houseu, and only the second, third, and second son, Yu Feng, were present. Houseu's elder and eldest had already broken through to Earth class. Elder Yu was in seclusion all year round, and the eldest had gone to the other side to continue his training. Thus, the only ones in charge were the two brothers and the younger generation, Yu Feng and Yu Kuen. Of course, there was another branch of Houseu, Haitian's branch, but Haitian wasn't suited for martial arts. His parents passed away early, and he was the only one left to manage the business. What do you guys think about the news that Tian sent back? Shueixing looked at the information on Lin Yi with a serious expression as he asked Yu Bide and Yu Feng. Second brother, now, I'm 90% sure that Lil Kuen was hurt by this Lin Yi. Yu Bide's eyes were filled with deep hatred. Yu Kuen wasn't as talented as Yu Feng, but he was still a genius in the eyes of the noble houses. He had the strength of a golden class late phase at such a young age, and his future was limitless. But he didn't expect to be injured by Lin Yi. How could Yu Bai not feel heartache and hate him? Yes, that's our current guess, but we'll have to wait until Kuen wakes up to find out the truth. Shueixing nodded. Second brother, are we just going to let it go now? Little Kuen was injured for nothing. Shouldn't we take revenge on that Lin Yi? Yu Bai said anxiously. Of course not. Shueixing waved his hand. But do you think Zhao Qibing's an idiot? Are the hidden Zhao family fools? Yu Bai froze as he vaguely thought of something. Lin Yi broke the legs of House Zhao's bastard son, Zhao Qibing, and even injured Uncle Zhu, an early phase mystic. He even killed 2 golden class masters. What kind of hatred is this? Shueishing asked lowly. Do you think Hao Xiao would just let this go? This is no longer a matter of face. This is a provocation. No, but Yu Bai's breathing tightened, and his expression was a little shocked. Then, what are they afraid of? Zhao Qibing's not telling the truth? Shueishing nodded and waved his hand. I don't know if Zhao Qibing's telling the truth or not. He's just a bastard son of House Zhao. It's hard to say if he's able to touch the secrets of the upper echelons of House Zhao. But the upper echelons of House Zhao haven't done anything yet, and Lin Yi is still alive and kicking in Songshan. Doesn't that mean something? Second brother, you're right. I was a little rash. I didn't think it through. Yu Bai nodded seriously. You're eager for revenge. I understand. Shueishing sighed. But don't I want revenge for little Kuan as well? You're his father, but Kuan is also a member of House Yu. Then, second brother, you mean that we should? Yu Bai asked carefully. Wait and see. Shueishing didn't have any good ideas. I think we should figure out Lin Yi's background first. We'll wait for Kuan to wake up and confirm that it's Lin Yi's doing, then we'll make a decision. All right? We'll let Tian investigate more in Songshan then. Yu Bai nodded. But our business in Yinjing still needs Tian to take care of it. Shueishing was a little hesitant, but Kuan's matter was of utmost importance. Father, let me go to Songshan and meet that Lin Yi. Tian bro doesn't know martial arts, and it'll be dangerous over there. I'm already a mystic early phase peak. That Lin Yi won't be able to do anything to me. Yufeng volunteered. I'll go investigate. It'll be safer. Shueishing didn't think that Yufeng would volunteer to go to Songshan to investigate. Using him to replace Yu Haitian wasn't a bad choice, but Shueishing was afraid that Yufeng would cause some trouble. He was young, after all, and hadn't gone on many missions. He'd been training at home all this time. But thinking of Yufeng's current strength, Shueishing didn't think that there was anything to worry about. He was a mystic early phase peak, and Lin Yi was most likely an early phase as well. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to fight evenly with Uncle Zhu. Shueishing didn't think that it was because Lin Yi didn't dare kill Uncle Zhu. If he was afraid of offending House Zhao, then he wouldn't have killed the 2 golden class masters. Kuan's case was the same. Lin Yi's strength had just entered the mystic class, and it wasn't stable yet. Even Kuan didn't die. As for the 2 golden class masters from House Zhao, they died from an accident. From Shueishing's point of view, Lin Yi must have used some sort of plan. With Yufeng's strength, it wouldn't be a problem for him to dominate Songshan. Father, there's no one more suitable than me. You and third uncle can't go yourselves, can you? Yufeng said. All right, you can go, but your main mission is to find out more about Lin Yi, not to cause trouble. Don't get into any conflict with him. Shueishing hesitated before agreeing. Of course I won't cause trouble, but I'm afraid that he'll cause trouble for me. That's even better. I won't have to find an excuse. I'll kill him with one slap and avenge Kuan. Yufeng said proudly. Let's try not to get into a conflict. Shueishing didn't say anything definite. If it was really as Yufeng said, and he was bullied, he couldn't just not fight back, could he? No one would be able to say anything even if he was beaten to death. Even if Lin Yi had a background, House Yu wasn't a pushover. If he was beaten to death, then so be it. Who would dare do anything? With that thought, Shueishing calmed down. Chapter 809. The orphanage's worries in the orphanage. The dean and Xiaoka were sitting opposite each other in a room. Xiaoka asked impatiently, Master, what is that hidden house Zhao? Why is that Zhao Qibing so arrogant? Hidden house, Zhao, the dean sighed. You've heard of the 4 big and 5 small noble houses, right? Of course I've heard of it. They're very rich and powerful. Xiaoka said enviously, If I knew where their hometown is, I could go there and we wouldn't have to worry about our living expenses anymore. Nonsense. Is it a place you can go? The dean glared at Xiaoka and scolded seriously. If you go, you won't be able to come back. Is it that serious? Xiaoka stuck her tongue out in fear. I'm just saying it casually. You can't just say it. Do you know how strong these noble houses are? They have a lot of golden-class masters and even mystic-class masters. How many lives do you have to go there? The dean scolded. Don't do anything irrational. Oh, I understand. Xiaoka nodded, feeling a bit regretful. If only she could go steal from them once. She asked, is that hidden house Zhao one of the 4 big and 5 small noble houses? No, they're from a hidden house, even scarier than the 4 big and 5 small noble houses. The dean shook her head. There are many masters in the hidden house, but I heard that they don't care about the common world. Otherwise, the 4 big and 5 small noble houses wouldn't be considered a noble house. If that's the case, why is that Zhao Qibing here? He's not lying, is he? Xiaoka heard the dean's words and asked curiously. I can't be sure whether it's a lie or not. We can only take it one step at a time. If he really sends an expert over, your master's meager strength won't be enough to deal with him. The old principal shook his head. Then aren't they being too much of a bully? Why? Then what about the children in the orphanage? Xiaoka was a little pissed off. She wasn't happy at all. Bully? I guess so, but what can we do? You're no match for him at all. The old dean sighed. Moreover, my identity cannot be exposed. Otherwise, there will be big trouble. Master, back then. Xiaoka wanted to say something, but stopped. She'd asked many times before, but her master was always vague about it. He didn't say a word about what happened back then. Xiaoka was very curious. You better not know about these things, the master said faintly. Otherwise, you will be in trouble. Oh, Xiaoka was curious, but she shut her mouth after hearing her master's words. The case of the kidney trafficking organization finally came to an end. The main culprit, Tattooed Bro, was sent to the court. Pin Liang and Zhang Wen, as the victims, testified against the kidney trafficking organization in court. Zhang Wen felt disgusted and amused. The kidney trafficking company was his, but he had to prove that he was a criminal. Pin Liang saw that Zhang Wen was a victim in court as well. He was surprised, but at the same time, he was overjoyed. Zhang Wen's kidney was taken too. Wasn't he the one who controlled the kidney trafficking company? How did he become a victim too? What a karma. Zhang Wen tricked him to death, and he finally got his retribution. His kidney was taken too. Pin Liang didn't think it was possible, but since Zhang Wen was here as a witness, the police must have confirmed it. His kidney had been cut off as well. After returning from the court, Zhang Wen was finally free from the police's surveillance. The first thing he did was call Zhong Pin Liang. In court, he saw that Pin Liang kept looking at him with a weird expression. He panicked. He hoped that Pin Liang wouldn't spill the beans. Luckily, Pin Liang only smiled weirdly and didn't say anything inappropriate. Zhang Wen didn't know what Pin Liang was trying to express. Was it sympathy? Was it weird? Or was it gloating? Zhang Wen knew that in Pin Liang's heart, he must hate him for taking away one of his kidneys. But now that he accidentally gave his kidney to Pin Liang, he should be appeased, right? However, no matter what Pin Liang was thinking, Zhang Wen decided to contact Pin Liang immediately and ask for his kidney back. Although he could buy another kidney, it wouldn't be as good as the original one. Xiaofu accompanied Pin Liang back home. Pin Liang had been tormented quite a bit recently, and the first thing he did when he got home was take a shower to wash away the bad luck. With miracle Dr. Kang's golden creation medicine, his wounds were already healed, and Pin Liang's body was recovering quite well. Liang bro, this Zhang Wen thing is quite weird. His kidney was taken too? Isn't he the one who controls the kidney trafficking company? Xiaofu asked curiously. Who knows? But it's good now. Not only did he lose the kidney trafficking company, but he also lost his kidney. I feel better now. Pin Liang nodded. Right. How's Lenny recently? Same as always. He's very powerful in school. No one dares to mess with him. Xiaofu sighed. Right, Liang bro, when is Naipeo coming back? When he comes back, we can have our revenge. I'm not sure yet. If we're not busy these few days, we can go up the mountain to see if he needs any help, Pin Liang said. Okay, I want to see how Naipeo is doing too. Xiaofu nodded. He was looking forward to Naipeo's return. The two were talking when Pin Liang's phone rang. He looked at the caller ID and saw that it was an unknown number. He picked it up. Hello? I'm Pin Yang. Who's this? Liang. I'm Jang Wen. Jang Wen sounded very friendly. Oh, Wen bro. What's up? Pin Liang's face changed. Why was Jang Wen calling him? Why was he looking for him? Hey, Liang, I have something important to tell you. Jang Wen didn't hear the unfriendliness in Pin Liang's tone. He couldn't see Pin Liang's expression, so he continued. How's your kidney? Did anything happen? Chapter 810. Chapter 0810. Gao Xiaofu's dirty move. Liang Yi, I'll be honest with you. I wanted to give Lin Yi's kidney to you, but that Lin Yi kid was too cunning. He suddenly jumped up and knocked me out right before the operating table. And I was the one who was pushed to the operating table. The doctor gave you my kidney. Jang Wen explained bitterly. Why? Pin Liang's eyes widened. Seriously? Was this the truth? No wonder Lin Yi was alive and kicking. No wonder Jang Wen's kidney was cut off. Lin Yi's kidney was given to him. Pin Liang couldn't help but laugh at Jang Wen's misfortune. You cut off my kidney? Are you happy now? Did you learn your lesson? Your kidney was cut off, right? You've been cutting off other people's kidneys all day, and now it's your turn. No wonder his kidney didn't match. It was the wrong one. No way, right? You're that unlucky? Pin Liang pretended to be sympathetic, but he was actually very happy inside. Yeah, I'm so unlucky. Bro, we're brothers in the same boat now. Jang Wen said with a sob. Brothers in the same boat? I have a kidney now. How can we still be brothers in the same boat? Pin Liang said it on purpose to piss Jang Wen off. Ugh, your kidney is mine, and we don't need to match. So, to avoid more trouble, why don't you give your kidney back to me first? If it dies, it'll affect your health. Jang Wen said, but I'll help you find a matching kidney. Give it to you? Fuck, you're dreaming, aren't you? You want to give it back after torturing me? Are you kidding me? Plus, it's already dead. Where can I get it for you? You want to find a matching kidney for me? Who are you kidding? Your kidney trafficking organization has been destroyed. Where are you going to find a matching kidney for me? Pin Liang didn't believe Jang Wen's words. He hated Jang Wen to the core. If it weren't for him, he wouldn't have been left with only one kidney. The kidney was already dead, and even if it wasn't dead, Pin Liang wouldn't give it back to Jang Wen even if he dug it out and threw it away. Is that so? Then I'll go to the hospital to see if it's a match. Pin Liang said indifferently and hung up before Jang Wen could reply. Jang Wen could only smile bitterly as he held the phone. He knew that Pin Liang didn't believe him and wanted to take his kidney for himself. However, he could only pray that Zhong Pingliang wouldn't be able to find a match in the hospital. That way, Zhong Pingliang wouldn't be able to use the kidney anymore and would return it to him. Pin Liang hung up the phone with a face full of disdain. He laughed coldly and said to Xiaofu, This and Jang Wen wants my kidney? What a fool's dream. Xiaofu was very close to Pin Liang, sitting right next to him. There was no one else in the house, so it was very quiet. Xiaofu heard everything Jang Wen and Pin Liang said over the phone. He added, Yeah, even if the kidney wasn't dead, we wouldn't give it back to him, let alone the fact that it's already dead. If it wasn't for him, would you have become like this, Brother Liang? You don't even have the confidence to pursue Meng Yao now. Yeah, Pin Liang, swear that I won't let Jang Wen go. When Nai Peo comes out, I'll make him pay for everything. Pin Liang gritted his teeth. Liang bro, I have a good idea. We don't need to wait for Nai Peo to come out and teach Jang Wen a lesson. Xiaofu's eyes lit up. Oh, do you have any good ideas? Pin Liang asked quickly when he heard that Xiaofu had an idea. Liang bro, didn't Jang Wen ask you for a kidney? If that's the case, we'll give him one. Xiaofu grinned. Give him one? Where would we get it? We've already lost the dead kidney. Pin Liang didn't understand. Besides, even if I had one, I wouldn't give it back to him. I hate him so much. Why would I give him a kidney? Liang bro, let me finish first. Xiaofu lowered his voice and said mysteriously, I said we'll give him one kidney, not the original one. We can give him another kidney. I heard that dog and pig kidneys look similar to human kidneys. We'll give him a dog kidney. Ha! Oh, that's a good idea, but will it match? Pinliang's eyes lit up. Who cares? It's best if he's not a good match. We'll torture him a little and let him enjoy the pain of having his kidney removed after a kidney transplant. By then, he'll be stabbed 3 times too. Gao Xiaofu said sinisterly. Yeah, why didn't I think of that? Pinliang was overjoyed at Xiaofu's suggestion. We'll give him a dog kidney, but will the doctor be able to see through the flaws during the kidney transplant? Well, Xiaofu thought about it and said, we'll go look for this doctor. Just tell them that the kidney trafficking company case has just been closed and they don't dare to operate in big hospitals. Also, Jiang Wen's kidney trafficking company has been destroyed, so he must have no more doctors in his place. You're right. Haha, Jiang Wen, how dare you set me up? I'll give you a dog kidney and make you feel good. Pinliang was overjoyed at the thought of setting Jiang Wen up. Xiaofu, I've just recovered from a serious illness, and I can't go out. I'll leave this to you. Contact a reliable illegal clinic and get a wild dog, preferably one with rabies. Haha. Don't worry, Liang bro, that's easy. I'll take care of it. Xiaofu patted his chest and promised. Yeah, I still have 30,000 in my bank card. It should be enough. Pinliang passed a bank card to Xiaofu. This is my pocket money my dad gave me this month. Hey, why are we using our own money? Jiang Wen should be the one paying for the kidney, and he has to give you some nutrition fees too, right? Xiaofu said. That's right. Why are we spending money? Let's just ask him for money. This is great. Not only did we give him a dog kidney, we can also get some money from him. Pinliang said happily. Xiaofu, you've become smarter recently. Man, I've matured a lot after all these things. Xiaofu nodded. From now on, we need to do things with intelligence. We can't be like before, doing things without thinking. Yeah, but about giving Jiang Wen a dog kidney, we have to keep this a secret. We can't let Jiang Wen know. Pinliang said, although my dad is with Master Bing, we can't mess with Jiang Wen's background. Chapter 811. Chapter 0811. Mischievous Yushu. It was another weekend. Lin Yi woke up to find the Miss and Yushu already awake, watching TV on the sofa in the living room. Meng Yao poked Yushu with a finger when Lin Yi came out. Oh, Shield bro, Yao Yao's prepared a lunchbox of love for you. Go eat it. Yushu said after getting Meng Yao's signal. Shu, what are you talking about? Breakfast with love? Meng Yao was a little pissed off. She was the one who called for KFC breakfast. Why was it breakfast with love? I don't know anything. You poked me with your finger, so I thought you were hinting me to say that. Yushu said innocently. Ahem. Meng Yao had no choice but to look at Lin Yi. Shu and I called for KFC breakfast since you weren't awake this morning. There's still some leftovers. Go eat it. In actuality, Meng Yao wanted to make it herself, but she gave up on the idea after her last failure. The popcorn porridge and egg would be inedible if she didn't do it. Thanks. Lin Yi nodded at Meng Yao, knowing that she was being tough on the outside but soft on the inside. The rest of the food on the table was obviously unopened, and it wasn't as Meng Yao had said. She'd ordered it just for him. Lin Yi went to eat, leaving Meng Yao and Yushu alone in the living room. Yao Yao, you were the one who ordered it for Shield bro. Why didn't you tell him? Yushu felt that Meng Yao was doing something wrong. It's not a big deal, I just brought it along. Meng Yao didn't think there was anything wrong with it. Oh, Yao Yao, you can't do this. We won't have anything to play with when Shield bro leaves. Yushu was a little disappointed. Meng Yao's attitude was hard to understand. Meng Yao shrugged and didn't say anything as she continued watching TV. TV shows these days are getting boring. Cartoons are getting more and more adult-oriented. I don't understand it anymore. Yushu flipped through a couple of channels, but nothing caught her eye. No Pleasant Goat and Big Wolf today. I don't know. Meng Yao was bored as well. How did Lin Yi spend his weekends before he came? Yao Yao sis, are we going shopping or playing at home today? It's been a while since we've played at home. Maybe we should play games? Yushu suggested after turning off the TV. Make a game? What game? Do you have any ideas? Meng Yao asked. Yushu couldn't think of anything to play with when she saw Lin Yi walking over after finishing his breakfast. Lin Yi was a fast eater, especially since he didn't have a lot for breakfast. Shield bro, this is so boring. Do you have any fun suggestions? Yushu looked at Lin E. What are you playing? It's May Day soon. Let's work. Lin E said as he looked at the villa's windows. The windows are dirty. Let's clean up the villa if we have time. Oh, Yao sis, let's do some work then? It sounds fun. Yushu thought that it would be fun to play with Lin E. Okay. Meng Yao nodded. Faubert used to hire cleaners to clean the villa, and she had never done it herself before. Meng Yao heard that all virtuous women knew how to do housework, so it wasn't a bad idea to do it herself. Meng Yao and Yushu, on the other hand, went upstairs to change into sportswear. Lin E, on the other hand, went to the storage room at the back of the villa to find 2 water hoses for watering the plants and washing the cars. They weren't high-pressure hoses, but they were more than enough to clean up the house. Shield bro, what do you need us to do? Yushu asked impatiently. She had never cleaned a house herself before. I'll go get rid of the weeds. You 2 have a water can each. You just need to wash the villa. Lin E gave the 2 girls some simple jobs, telling them to get rid of the weeds. Lin E wasn't at ease. He didn't want the weeds to get rid of them and ruin the good lawn instead. Oh, okay. Yushu tried it out. It was really fun. It was like the water cannon she played with when she was young. Yao sis, cleaning a house is so fun. Don't talk. Let's get to work. Meng Yao thought that it was fun. It was as if she had returned to her childhood. She and Yushu had a water cannon each, and they would shoot water all over each other. In the end, both of them were drenched and had to go home to take a hot shower. The 2 of them had been bathing in the same tub, and for some reason, they'd gotten into a fight again, filling the bathroom with water. Neither of them had cleaned it up, and Pengzhan had slipped and fallen when he went to the washroom that night. I'm a painter. I'm good at painting. I want to make the new house more beautiful. After painting the roof, I'll paint the walls. Yushu sang happily. She was so excited that the water cannon tilted, and the water that hit the villa's wall reflected back at Meng Yao's face. Shoo! Meng Yao's face was full of water, and she was a little angry. What are you doing? Why did you shoot me with a water cannon? Oh, Yao sis, I'm sorry. I didn't do it on purpose. Yushu looked at Meng Yao's wet face. She found it funny, but she held back her laughter and apologized carefully. Be more careful next time. Meng Yao glared at Yushu as she continued painting the house. Yushu turned around and focused on painting the house. After a while, she glanced at Meng Yao out of the corner of her eye. She smiled mischievously when she realized that Meng Yao was focused on painting a piece of glass. She pretended that it wasn't a big deal, and with a tilt of her hand, the water shot back at Meng Yao again like it was raining cats and dogs. Shoo! Meng Yao was about to explode. Are you blind? What are you doing? I'm sorry, Yao sis. I didn't do it on purpose. Yushu put down the water cannon and looked at Meng Yao innocently. I really didn't do it on purpose, Yao sis. Maybe you can spray me too. Forget it. Just be more careful next time. Meng Yao couldn't say anything else after seeing Yushu like that. She glared at her again before wiping the water off her face and continuing painting. Chapter 812. A thief calling a thief. Yushu was dancing with joy at the success of her plan as she pretended to be focused on cleaning the house. After a while, she glanced at Meng Yao out of the corner of her eyes and couldn't help but giggle. The water gun in her hand tilted once more. Meng Yao screamed again as she turned around and glared at Yushu. Shu, what's wrong with you? I'm sorry, Yao. I wasn't paying attention, Yushu said carefully. You weren't paying attention, okay? Can't you be more careful next time? Meng Yao didn't have the heart to continue scolding Yushu after seeing her like this. She shook her head. Let's get back to work. Oh, Yushu was glad that she'd dodged another bullet. Meng Yao suspected that Yushu was doing it on purpose. The girl was a mischievous girl. She used to do all kinds of naughty things when they were kids, so Meng Yao learned to be smart this time. Although she continued to use the water gun to wash the house, she kept looking at what Yushu was doing with the corner of her eyes. After a while, Meng Yao saw Yushu sneaking a peek at her. Seeing that she wasn't reacting, Yushu grinned and tilted the water gun in her hand. Meng Yao was pissed off. Shu, how dare you ambush me like this? Meng Yao took a step back and aimed the water gun at Yushu. The water in the gun sprayed Yushu's head and face, making her look like a drowned rat. Ah! Yushu screamed as she dropped the water gun and tried to block Meng Yao's water with her hands, but that wasn't something that could be blocked with just hands. In an instant, Yushu was drenched from head to toe in the spray. Meng Yao didn't have the heart to keep spraying her, fearing that she'd catch a cold. She stopped and glared at Yushu angrily. Yao Yao, why did you pour water on me? Whoa, you're killing me. Yushu wiped the water off her head as if she'd just walked out of the rain. Little Shu, how dare you call someone else a thief? What did you come here for? Meng Yao asked, amused and annoyed by Yushu's aggrieved look. Nothing much. I'm here to paint houses. Yushu looked at Meng Yao confused. You sprayed me with that water gun of yours when I wasn't paying attention. Don't think I didn't see it. Seeing that Yushu wasn't admitting to it, Meng Yao reached out to pinch Yushu's cheeks angrily, pulling Yushu's face away. Ouch, it hurts. Yushu yelped, embarrassed. You found out, Yao Yao. Didn't you say you didn't do it on purpose? Meng Yao realized that Yushu was still so mischievous. What a kid. I just thought it was fun. Yushu stuck her tongue out in embarrassment when Meng Yao saw through her scheme. Yao Yao, I was just joking. You're not mad, are you? Mad at you? If I was mad at you, I'd be pissed to death by you since I was young. Meng Yao said, speechless. I don't think you should be called Prophet Shu, Spy Shu, Negotiator Shu, or something like that. Call yourself Troublemaker Shu. Hurry up and paint the walls. Oh, Yao Yao, you know me so well. Why don't we have a water fight first? It's been a long time, more than 10 years, right? Yushu said with nostalgia. Play. Meng Yao was actually quite lonely. She didn't have much to do, and she didn't have many entertainment activities. Other than watching TV with Shu at home and playing video games, she rarely went to any entertainment places. One reason was that the two of them were in their 12th year of high school. They didn't have much time to play outside of studying, and the other reason was that the entertainment places were filled with all sorts of people. Meng Yao and Yushu didn't really dare go there. Now that they had Lin Yi, it wasn't a problem, but where would they get the chance to go? So, Yushu's suggestion of a water fight moved Meng Yao. How do you want to play? Let's continue painting the walls, and then secretly spray each other with the water gun. Let's see who has faster reflexes. Yushu suggested. Meng Yao was speechless. Sneak attack? She really wasn't Yushu's match. But seeing how excited Shu was, Meng Yao didn't want to reject. The two of them really didn't have much fun, so she nodded. All right, but let's make this clear. Spray once is enough. We can't keep on spraying. Okay. Are we starting? Yushu nodded excitedly. Not yet. We'll start when I say so. Meng Yao wanted to take the initiative. Oh, okay. Yushu continued painting the walls of the villa, and she kept looking at Meng Yao. She panicked when she saw Meng Yao seriously painting the walls. Why wasn't she starting yet? Did Sister Yao Yao forget that we were going to have a water fight? Yushu was panicking. She was just about to ask when Meng Yao said, let's start. Yushu froze, and before she could react, Meng Yao sprayed water all over her face. She screamed, Yao Yao, you're cheating. I need to use extreme methods to deal with troublemakers like you. How else would I get to spray you? Meng Yao said confidently, you're the one who wanted to play. Haven't you heard of the saying, all's fair in war? Oh, okay then. Yushu could only accept her bad luck. Let's continue. And so, Yushu and Meng Yao continued playing with the water gun. Both of them had wins and losses, but they were having a lot of fun. Lin Yi, on the other hand, saw the Miss and Yushu playing with the lawnmower. He didn't pay much attention to them, though. After all, the two of them had been cooped up in the house for too long. They needed to find a way to vent. Otherwise, the boring 12th grade life would suffocate them to death. Lin Yi, on the other hand, had too many things to do every day. He didn't think that it was inappropriate, but the Miss and Yushu were different. Lin Yi, naturally, wouldn't interfere with the two girls' occasional venting. He didn't need them to do any manual labor. It was outside the villa, anyway, It didn't matter if it was clean or not. Chapter 813. Chapter 0813. Sneak attack on Lenny, huh? Meng Yao paused. Sneak attack on Lenny? With a water gun? That's not good, is it? Why not? We can do it secretly and pretend that we didn't do it on purpose, right? Yushu smiled mischievously. Meng Yao frowned. He's weeding. How can we mess around with him? It's fine, it's hot now. It's good to get rid of the heat. Look at our clothes. Aren't they drying up? Yushu said as she shook off the sportswear she was wearing. It was fortunate that they were both wearing sportswear. Otherwise, they'd be completely exposed if they'd only worn a thin shirt at home. That's not good, is it? Meng Yao wasn't as crazy as Yushu. Yao Yao, think about it. You've already sprayed Shield Bro's face all over in the hospital. What's the difference now? Yushu said to Meng Yao. What are you talking about? Meng Yao was a little embarrassed when Yushu brought up that embarrassing moment. She glared at Yushu as if someone stepped on her tail. Don't ever bring that up again. Oh, Yao Yao sis, don't be shy. I heard that a lot of guys like this. I think it's called Tide or something. Maybe Shield Bro likes it too. Yushu said, us sisters need to have something special in order to defeat Tang Yun. If you continue talking nonsense, I'm going to ignore you. Meng Yao reached out to pinch Yushu's face. Shu, you've become more perverted recently. You weren't like this before. Oh, maybe I'm entering puberty. Yushu said casually. Puberty? Shu, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but you're already 18. Meng Yao looked at Yushu and shook her head. Look at your breasts. They've stopped developing. It means that you're done with puberty. Says who? Impossible? I thought they got bigger yesterday. Yushu puffed her chest out, almost bursting her sportswear out of the way. Meng Yao was envious. Why was Shu's breast so big? Wouldn't he be perfect if he shared a little with himself? Meng Yao said jealously. That's because you've been eating too much lately. You've gotten fatter. Oh, okay. My boobs are getting bigger. Yushu nodded. Meng Yao gritted her teeth. What was the difference between a fat chest and a big chest? The topic has gone astray. Anyway, I don't want to scold Lenny. Oh, Yao Yao, if you don't want to come, I'll come myself. But you have to keep it a secret from me, Yushu said. All right, Meng Yao nodded. She didn't want to get involved, so she just watched as Yushu messed around. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was mowing lawn mows. The mower was loud, but he could still hear Meng Yao and Yushu's conversation. He felt that these two girls were quite cute, and he'd be able to enjoy life if he could guard them every day. At first, Lenny didn't care when he saw Meng Yao and Yushu playing with the water gun, but he didn't expect Shu to change her target to him. Lenny didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but he pretended that he didn't hear anything and continued mowing. Yushu and Meng Yao continued mowing the wall, but Yushu was already looking for a chance to spray Lin Yi with the water gun. Yao Yao, look at that wall. It's very dirty. The water gun doesn't seem to have enough pressure. It can't wash it. With that, Yushu raised the water gun as high as she could, as if she was trying her best to make the gun shoot higher and farther. A stream of water shot towards the lawn where Lin Yi was. However, just when the water was about to hit Lin Yi moved slightly, as if he had just mowed the grass. The water sprayed all over the lawn, but there was no water on Lin Yi at all. Yushu didn't expect Lin Yi to be so lucky. He dodged the water just when it was about to hit him. Before, Yushu had been observing Lin Yi secretly. She noticed that Lin Yi had a pattern when he mowed the grass. After changing a position, he would stay at the same place for a while. The interval was about 5 minutes. However, who would have thought that Lin Yi's mowing time was shortened this time? It only took him 3 minutes. What's wrong? Lin Yi turned his head and looked at Yushu and Meng Yao. What are you guys doing? Nothing. Shu wanted to wash the wall a little higher and didn't control her strength well. Meng Yao explained nervously when she heard Lin Yi's question. Oh, Lin Yi nodded and didn't say anything else. He turned back and continued mowing. Meng Yao glared at Yushu. She thought, you caused trouble, and you want me to explain for you? Yushu stuck her tongue out. I didn't aim well this time, but I won't next time. Mingyao didn't say anything and continued to clean the wall. Yushu, on the other hand, continued to observe Lin Yi as she cleaned the wall. This time, Yushu didn't notify Lin Yi in advance. She didn't want to explain that the wall was a little dirty like last time. Instead, she suddenly changed the direction of the water gun and sprayed it at Lin Yi. However, this time, Lin Yi coincidentally squatted down as if he was checking the condition of the grass under him. He dodged Yushu's water gun directly. The water from the water gun swept over Lin Yi's head. Only a few drops of water fell on Lin Yi's back. It didn't seem to affect him much. Yushu was surprised. How was that possible? Shield Bro dodged it again? But how could it be so coincidental? Shield Bro is so lucky. Mingyao frowned. She seemed to have sensed something. Perhaps Lin Yi did it on purpose? She thought that Lin Yi's skills were more than enough to dodge the water spray. All right, Shu, stop messing around. Oh, Yushu wasn't satisfied, but there was nothing she could do after hearing Mingyao's words. She could only nod. After a while, Yushu wasn't willing to give up. She didn't believe that it would be a coincidence every time. She didn't believe that Lin Yi could dodge her water gun every time. So, she continued to observe Lin Yi. It wasn't long before she found new opportunity. She saw Lin Yi turn around and start removing the weeds in another part of the field. Yushu felt that this was her chance. Lin Yi couldn't have eyes on his back, could he? Chapter 814. Reality and Ideals, but Yushu was going to be disappointed again. This time, Lin Yi coincidentally turned around and went to Yushu's yellow beetle. He opened the door and got in. As a result, not a single drop of water fell on Lin Yi's body. It was all blocked by the car, and Lin Yi didn't get wet at all. Ah! Yushu was going crazy. How is this possible? How is this possible? Why was Shield Bro so lucky? Shu, stop messing around. Lin Yi must have noticed you already. Mingyao's suspicions were confirmed after seeing the current situation. Lin Yi must have noticed Shu's intentions, but he couldn't say anything about it. That was why he dodged the attacks of the water. But why does he have eyes on the back of his head? Yushu couldn't believe it. I don't know, but I think Lin Yi isn't a normal person. Mingyao shook her head and looked at Lin Yi's direction. She could see a handsome face through the window of the beetle. His eyes were dazed. The more she looked at this man, the more comfortable she felt. She didn't feel repulsed when she first saw him. Now, she felt that Lin Yi wasn't a country bumpkin at all. He didn't look like a laborer. He was still wearing the same tattered singlet he'd worn when he'd first arrived, but Mingyao felt that her attitude had changed. She didn't know if it was because she had accepted Lin Yi's existence, or if there was some other reason behind it. Maybe she liked Lin Yi a little? Like him? Impossible. How could she like a womanizer? Oh, I knew Shield Bro wasn't a normal person, but why would he be your follower? Yushu nodded as she asked Lin Yi curiously. I don't know how Daddy invited him. Mingyao shrugged, but I think that Lin Yi will soar into the sky sooner or later. We need to cherish the time we have now. Maybe one day, Lin Yi won't be in this villa anymore. Oh, then Yao Yao sis, do you want to keep Shield Bro? Yushu nodded, not really understanding. This is not something we can decide. Can $30,000 really keep him? Even $300,000 isn't enough for him to leave. Mingyao shook her head. Oh, I don't understand. I only know that Yao Yao sis has become Shield Bro's first wife, and he can only stay in the villa. Yushu said, I don't think that money is important anymore. What? That's easy. Mingyao smiled. Lin Yi has a girlfriend. But don't all powerful men have several wives? Aren't we going to marry the same man? Yushu asked. There's always a difference between reality and dreams. Mingyao pinched Yushu's cheek. It felt really good after pinching her cheeks a couple of times. They were chubby and easy to pinch. Oh, Yushu watched as Lin Yi drove the car from one side of the lawn to the other. She felt that Shield Bro could predict the future. He was even better than her. Shield Bro, what are you doing? Yushu couldn't help but ask. Weeding, there are weeds under the car. I'm driving the car to the other side. Lin Yi got out of the car and looked at Yushu with a faint smile. What are you doing? Watering the lawn? Oh, Yushu was a little embarrassed. She could tell from Lin Yi's expression that Lin Yi had found out about her naughtiness. Chill, bro. I actually wanted to sneak a shot at you. Yushu didn't hide it anymore. She admitted it since Lin Yi saw through her. Ah, no matter how I look at it, it looks like you did it on purpose. Lin Yi smiled. He wasn't angry at Yushu. Getting angry with Yushu wasn't something Lin Yi could do. Hinliang would have been kicked to the Southern Sky Gate long ago if he'd done something like that. Man, there's no sense of accomplishment. Chill, bro. Would it kill you to get sprayed by me? Yushu was a little disappointed. Yushu's words were a little flirtatious, and it reminded Lin Yi of the scene in the hospital. He looked at Meng Yao subconsciously. The Miss Heart tightened when she saw Lin Yi looking at her. She remembered something as well, and her face reddened. She glared at Lin Yi. What are you looking at? What are you thinking about? Ah, nothing. Lin Yi shook his head. But the more Lin Yi acted like this, the more Meng Yao felt embarrassed. She remembered the scene in the hospital and the ambiguous smile on Lin Yi's face. Meng Yao picked up her water gun and sprayed it at Lin Yi. Lin Yi didn't defend himself. He didn't expect the miss to attack him all of a sudden. He smiled bitterly. It seemed like the miss was a little embarrassed. He dodged to the side, but Meng Yao's water gun still managed to get some water on him. Yushu cheered when she saw Meng Yao attacking Lin Yi. She picked up her water gun and sprayed it at Lin Yi. Yao Yao, let's see who can spray Shield Bro first. Lin Yi was good at fighting, but there was no way he could dodge Meng Yao and Yushu's water gun attacks. He couldn't just go underground, could he? But seeing how happy the two were playing, Lin Yi didn't dodge and let them do whatever they wanted. But at this moment, a woman's scream came from outside the villa's fence. Bastard! Which little bastard drenched me with water? Meng Yao and Yushu jumped in fright, turning the water gun in their hands as they looked in the direction of the sound. There was a convertible Porsche Boxster parked in front of their villa, and in the driver's seat was a woman dressed very provocatively. Her hair was wet, and the thick makeup on her face was messed up as well. It looked like she was wearing a face from an opera. As it turned out, Meng Yao and Yushu had gotten a little too heated, and she'd been too focused on spraying Lin Yi with her water gun that she hadn't noticed the sports car passing by the villa. The water gun had hit the woman's head and face. Meng Yao and Yushu realized that they'd gotten into trouble as well. The woman's words weren't very pleasing to the ears, but the miss wasn't an arrogant person to begin with. She walked over to the Boxster woman and apologized. I'm so sorry. We accidentally drenched you with water. We're really sorry. Chapter 8:15. The identity of a rich. She raised her head and saw that it was two cleaners and a gardener who did this. She was furious, ignoring the fact that one of the cleaners came over to apologize. She pointed at Meng Yao's nose and started cursing. You little bitch, do you know who I am? How dare you pour water on me? Do you want to die? It was no wonder that Huli mistook Meng Yao and Yushu for cleaners. They were wearing sportswear, and their faces and hair were a mess from the water. At first glance, one would think that they were working girls from the countryside who came to the city to work. Lin Yi, on the other hand, was dressed like a laborer with a lawnmower in his hand. What else could he be if he wasn't a gardener? And so in Go Huli's first year, these two cleaners and a gardener took advantage of the fact that the owner wasn't around to have a water fight. Now that she was involved, how could she let them go so easily? Even if they were the residents of the villa, Go Huli would still feel that she was above them, let alone a couple of cleaners with no background. She's already apologized. Please watch your words. Lin Yi naturally wouldn't stand by and watch Meng Yao get bullied. He walked over and spoke to the woman. Although the woman was a little rude, it was the Miss and Shushu who were in the wrong, so Lin Yi didn't say much. Apologize? What's the use of apologizing? Huli glared at Lin Yi. I say, you're just a gardener. What right do you have to talk to me? You small fries don't even have the right to talk to me. You don't even have the right to fart. Lin Yi frowned. This woman's words were really unpleasant. If it weren't for the fact that they were in the wrong, Lin Yi would have ignored her already. But Lin Yi wasn't an unreasonable person. We've already apologized. What else do you want? What should I do? Do you know how much this dress costs? I just bought it yesterday, and it's the first time I've worn it. It's an international brand. Have you seen it before? Go Hooli pointed at her clothes and roared. You wouldn't know even if I told you. We can compensate you with one of your clothes. Lin, he said lightly. If she wasn't a woman, Lin, he might have been impatient. Compensate? What are you going to use as compensation? Do you know how much my clothes cost? How much is your monthly salary? You wouldn't be able to afford it even if you sold yourselves. Go Hooli smiled coldly, her eyes filled with disdain. Just tell me how much it is. Meng Yao hated this woman from the bottom of her heart. Although it was indeed her fault, she had already apologized and was willing to bear the woman's loss. But this woman still wouldn't let it go. Meng Yao didn't want to let it go. How much? 38,000. Go Hooli said proudly. Oh, Lin Yi, go get her 40,000. Meng Yao frowned as she turned to Lin. 40,000? How arrogant. I didn't think that you slaves working for a rich family would be so rich. I see that you look like a vixen. You probably sleep with them at night, right? Go Hooli mocked. Who's a slave? Meng Yao wasn't happy. I've already compensated you. You can take the money and leave. We still need to paint the house. Compensate? Losing money is enough? My clothes are international brands. You can't buy them even if you have money. Go Hooli wasn't happy with Meng Yao's attitude. A little vixen dared to talk to a rich wife like her like that. It pissed her off. Then how did you buy it? Linny looked at the miss and signaled her to keep quiet and let him handle it. He then turned to Go Hooli. If you can buy it, so can we. If you don't want money, I can buy you the exact same one. Lin, he couldn't be blamed for boasting like this. With a follower like Fatty Lai, Linny didn't believe that he couldn't buy the clothes this woman could buy. I bought my clothes from the VIP counter in Pengzhan Business Tower. This is a limited edition international brand. It's only sold to VIP members. You can't buy it even if you have money. Go Hooli sneered in disdain. And you have to be a Diamond card member to buy it. You're a Diamond card member? Lin, he heard Go Hooli's words and found it funny. You're telling the miss of Pengzhan Industries that she can't buy things from Pengzhan Business Tower? Why does it sound like an idiot? Of course. Only people with my status can get this Diamond card. I heard that the entire Pengzhan Industries only gives out a few dozen of these cards. Go Hooli said proudly. My status isn't something you small people can compare to. You can only look up to me. Lin, he didn't understand. Why would Pengzhan give a membership card to an idiot like her? Yushu, on the other hand, probably thought of the same thing. She asked Meng Yao curiously, Yao sis, why would Uncle Chu give a membership card to an idiot like her? Maybe she's rich. She's always spending her money, Meng Yao said. What are you two mumbling about? Meng Yao and Yushu's voices weren't loud, but Go Hooli still heard them. She just couldn't hear them clearly, so she asked angrily. Then, may I ask who are you? Lin, he didn't give Go Hooli a chance to ask. Me? I'm from Yinjing. Go Hooli patted her Porsche Boxster. See? Yinjing's license plate. 8,888. Only rich people like us can get a plate like this. You little bums from small places can never understand the life of the upper class. Oh, that's amazing. Lin, he nodded cooperatively. All right, you're done acting cool. Now, let's talk about your clothes. Who are you calling acting cool? Go Hooli heard Lin Yi's sarcasm and became furious. What did he mean by acting cool? Although she was acting cool and enjoyed the process of stepping on small people, Lin Yi's words made her lose face. It's nothing. Do you want to solve your clothes or not? Lin Yi asked. Chapter 816. Terms of the bet. She had just bought a villa in this district, but it was a second-hand villa and the previous owner hadn't lived here for a long time. She noticed that the villa was very dusty and the yard was full of weeds. So, she wanted Meng Yao, Yushu, and Lin Yi to work for her for free. This way, she could humiliate them. You can find a cleaner to do it. We'll pay for it. Lin Yi said faintly. Pay? You don't want to do it? Fine, then buy me a set of clothes that looks exactly like it. Go Hooli acted like she had Lin Yi in the bag. Go buy it? Only Diamond car members can buy it. Oh, then if we buy it, will we just forget about it? Lin, he couldn't be bothered to argue with this shrew. Forget about it? If you guys can buy it, I'll pull my head off. Go Hooli knew very well what was going on with the clothes, so she dared to say something like that. When she bought it yesterday, other than the sample in the display window, this was the only one left. Pengjian Commercial Building wouldn't sell the sample in the display window, and normal staff didn't have the authority to open the display window. The display window had a fixed period of time, and they wouldn't open it before the expiration date. That was why Go Hooli dared to say that if Lin Yi could buy it, she would pull her head off. Of course, this wasn't just for show. She was going to give Lin Yi even harsher terms later on. Oh, this is fun. Yao Yao sis. Can people still live after they pull their heads off? Yushu asked curiously. I don't know. Maybe some people have special abilities? I heard that some people can separate their heads from their bodies. Meng Yao shook her head. Oh, that's fun. Shield bro. Hurry up and buy her the same set of clothes and let her pull her head off? Yushu said expectantly. Wait, what if you can't buy the exact same clothes? Go Hooli was annoyed at Yushu's words, but for the sake of what she was going to say next, she had to hold it in. Oh, but we don't know how to twist our heads off. We'd be dead if we did. Yushu said, shaking her head. I don't want you to break your heads. As long as you can't buy the same clothes as mine, then you have to be free labor for my family for a year. How about that? You have to clean my house and weed every day. Whatever I tell you to do, you have to do it. Go Hooli said. Okay, let's go buy it then. I want to see the head-twisting performance. Yushu nodded eagerly, agreeing to Hooli's request. Lin he wanted to negotiate a little more, because Lin he didn't like to do things he wasn't sure of. He wanted to get the brand and model of Go Hooli's clothes and call Faubert to confirm it before going to buy the clothes. But Yushu had already agreed, so Lin he couldn't change it. Even if Pengjian Business Building was gone, Lin he could still order Fatty Lai to buy the clothes. There wasn't a time limit anyway, so it was a loophole that could be exploited. Let's go. What are you waiting for? Come with me to buy clothes. Go Hooli laughed coldly. Right? How are you guys going? My car can't fit so many of you. We have a car. Lin he pointed at Meng Yao's beetle and said to Go Hooli. Go Hooli looked at the beetle. Although she was surprised, she didn't think too much about it. Your master is quite rich, isn't he? He bought a car for you slaves. Not bad. It's for you to buy groceries, isn't it? Meng Yao glared at Go Hooli and didn't say anything. It was useless to say anything now. They had to buy the clothes first. Meng Yao and Yushu got on the beetle, and Lin Yi drove out of the villa, following Go Hooli's Boxster to the business district. It was the weekend, so the business district was full of cars. There were no more parking spaces in front of Pengjian Business Building, but Go Hooli had a membership card. She got off the car and waved the diamond card in her hand, showing off to Lin, I'm a member here, so I can park in the special underground parking lot. There are always empty spaces. You guys find a place to park, but be careful not to get stickers. With that, Go Hooli returned to the car and drove to the underground parking lot of Pengjian Commercial Building. However, Lin Yi didn't look for a parking space. He followed Go Hooli into the underground parking lot. Go Hooli laughed coldly in her heart. Follow him. Although my diamond car allows me to bring a car with me, I won't let you use it. You guys will be kicked out by the security later. It'll be so embarrassing. Miss, are you a VIP of Pengjian Business Building? Go Hooli drove the car to the fence of the underground parking lot, and a security guard walked over and asked respectfully. Of course. Go Hooli took out her membership card and said, I have a diamond card. Welcome, respected diamond VIP, Ms. Go. The guard took Hooli's card and swiped it on the machine on the side. Hooli's information was displayed. Diamond VIPs were rare, so the security guard was very respectful. These diamond VIPs were all rich and powerful people, and one look at Go Hooli and they knew that she wasn't someone to be messed with. Excuse me, is the car behind you with you, Miss Go? The security guard looked at the beetle behind Go Hooli's car and asked, You have a diamond card, so you can bring another car into the parking lot for free. This is your privilege. No, it has nothing to do with me. Go Hooli took back her membership card and purposely raised her voice so that Lin E, and the others could hear her. She wanted to humiliate Lin, E, and the others, to let these lowly servants know the difference between them and rich people like her, the difference between them and high-class people. Okay, please take care. The security guard nodded and opened the fence, allowing Go Huli's car to drive into the underground VIP parking lot of Pengjian Business Building. However, after Go Huli drove the car over the fence and entered the parking lot, she didn't look for a parking space immediately. Instead, she parked the car at the side and waited to see Lin, E, and the others make a fool of themselves. She wanted to see how Lin, E, and the others would be kicked out by the security guard. Chapter 817. Three diamond cards. Lin, E drove the car and stopped in front of the fence. The security guard walked over with a smile on his face and asked respectfully, "Hello, sir. Are you a VIP of Pengjian Commerce?" "I think so," Lin E said as he rummaged through his wallet. The security guard paused. "I think so." Was he or wasn't he? Although he was confused, he didn't show any disdain on his face. It could be seen that Pengjian Industries did a good job in training their employees. Meng Yao found it funny. Even if Lin E didn't have a VIP card, he could still come in after giving Fauber a call. Plus, he had a membership card. But Meng Yao knew what Lin E was thinking when she saw Go Huli not far away. He was probably messing with Go Huli on purpose. As expected, Go Huli found it funny when she saw Lin E pretending to look for a membership card after the security guard asked. She got out of the car and walked over to the fence. The heavy makeup on Go Huli's face had been washed away by Meng Yao and Yushu's water gun. She had to wipe it off with a wet wipe in the car. Without the heavy makeup, Go Huli's face showed the signs of aging. She was already in her 30s, no longer young, but she was a mistress who married into a rich family. She had an indescribable feeling of superiority. She always wanted to show that she was different from others. "What are you looking for? Are you looking for a membership card?" Go Huli smiled coldly as she looked at Lin E looking for something. She said to the security guard, "You don't need to wait for him to look for it. Just kick him out. I've seen a lot of people like him who don't have the strength to act cool. He'll pretend to look for it for a long time and then tell you that he forgot his membership card. Then, he'll drive away as if nothing happened. He doesn't even have a membership card." The security guard was speechless. What did it have to do with you whether he had a membership card or not? You don't know him, right? If you continue to spout nonsense here and someone gets out of the car to beat you up, should I stop them or not? Although the security guards had seen people who forgot to bring their membership cards, the security guards always maintained a respectful attitude towards them. Who knew if they really forgot to bring it? "I think I forgot to bring it." Lin E shrugged and looked at the security guard apologetically. "Huh." Huli heard Lin Yi's words and laughed. "Wahaha. Security, what did I say? They don't have membership cards, right? I've already told you that they're here to act cool and not because they really have a membership card. I asked you to kick them out, and you still don't believe me? How is it? Am I right? Don't be fooled by the fact that the three of them drove here. In fact, they are all low-class people. The man in front is a gardener, and the two women in the back are little nannies. They're all slaves. How could they come to such a high-end place to shop? Oh, my membership card seems to be on the front passenger seat visor. Let me look for it." Yushu's body was small. She leaned over from the back of the car and looked for it on the visor. However, Meng Yao took out a membership card from her wallet and passed it to the security guard with a smile on her face. "Use mine." Meng Yao saw that Lin E clearly had a membership card in his wallet, but he said that he didn't find it. That meant that he was playing around with Huli, causing her to get out of the car and talk nonsense. Meng Yao didn't mind taking out her membership card to embarrass Huli. As expected, Huli's face changed when she saw Meng Yao take out a membership card. This little nanny had a membership card? How is that possible? She quickly said, "Hey, security, look carefully. Don't be fooled by them. They're all low-class people. How could they have a membership card here?" The security guard saw that Meng Yao was very pretty and had a sweet smile. He had a good impression of her. He thought that her membership card was real and theirs was fake. What kind of logic was that? However, Yushu also found her membership card and passed it to the security guard. I found mine too. The security guard was stunned. He looked at Yushu's membership card. It was actually a diamond card. He was really a little scared. What kind of customers were these? They actually had 2 diamond membership cards? Although the security guard was one of the lowest employees in the group, he was in charge of receiving members who came to Pengzhan Business building a shop. He had seen many membership cards, and he knew how rare diamond cards were. Sometimes he wouldn't even see a diamond card for a few days. But today, the passengers in this inconspicuous beetle actually took out 2 diamond cards. However, what surprised him even more was that he also took out a membership card from his wallet and passed it to the security guard. He smiled. I'm sorry, I found mine too. But it seems like I won't need it anymore. The security guard looked at Yi's membership card. It was actually a diamond card. He was dumbfounded. It can't be, right? 3 diamond membership cards? How is that possible? He couldn't believe what he saw. He rubbed his eyes and confirmed that he didn't see wrongly. He said in shock, all 3 are diamond membership cards? 1 is enough. There's no need for so many. What? Go Huli heard the security guard's words and was stunned. However, she wouldn't believe that Yi and the others would take out 3 membership cards. She shouted in disbelief. Ha 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 ha, isn't this too fake? 3 diamond membership cards? How is that possible? Who are you lying to? Pengzhan Business building only gave out a few dozen diamond membership cards. How can you have 3? Security guard, do you think it's possible? Although the security guard was confused, he was also shocked by Yi and the others. He couldn't believe that a car could take out 3 membership cards. However, the membership cards didn't look any different from the real ones. So, although the security guard was shocked, he didn't show any abnormal expression. After all, the authenticity of the membership card could be seen by swiping it on the machine. He wasn't in a hurry to verify the authenticity of the card. Sir, miss, just 1 card is enough. The security guard took the membership card from Meng Yao, who handed it to him first. He swiped it on the machine beside him. Instantly, the card's level and details of the cardholder appeared on the screen. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.